required.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a social media manager.
Did you just post our Q4 earnings to your personal social media?
Oh yeah, used a trending audio and everything.
That's confidential financial data.
Relax. It only went a little viral.
The SEC just commented with the eyeball watching emoji.
This is the job for sponsored jobs.
This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
ESPN New York is your home for the world champion New York Knicks. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. Bart Scott.
What the hell?
Chris Carlin.
Take a hike. We're good.
This is Bart and Carlin.
Buckle your chin strap. We about to bang.
On ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Well, my phone actually melted yesterday. I didn't know that was possible, but it melted. Fun day. Fun day. Carlin, ESPN New York. ESPN New York YouTube channel where you can go, you can leave your comments, and you can be a part of this program. I'm not stealing the McAfee program. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. If I may, before I get started here, we obviously have the events of yesterday, which sucked. Let's not beat around the bush on that one. Get tons of texts and calls last night about it. And, phone melted. You shut it off for an hour, and you come back, and there's 35 messages. And I'm going to be blunt for a second. About half of them are from people that you just don't even want to hear from in these instances and just want to know what's going on. Now, for those who might be listening, I'm going to let you all determine which half you're in. My guess is you probably know which half you're in. But this is the point. And then this morning, as I'm trying to gather myself for the day, I took a couple of Tylenol PMs last night to get some sleep because otherwise that wasn't happening. At least not great sleep. CPAP, off the charts a little bit. That's been a situation off the rails. In and out with that. After losing some of the weight, some of it not necessarily necessary each and every day, but, the sleep lately has not been the easiest for your larger friend over here. So hit the Tylenol PM, and that hit the spot. I'm not above being drug reliant every once in a while. And then this morning, I parked the car a block away, as I do every day. And for the first time in my life, I walk out of the parking lot, and I am besieged by a flock. They're a gaggle of pigeons out of nowhere. No joke. It's like they came around a corner, and there were at least 40 or 50 birds coming right at my giant head. When does it end? And all of this because somebody left half a roll on the ground behind me. These birds have no fear. They have no fear of human interaction whatsoever. And they are the dirtiest birds on the planet. And I just could not have been ducking and dodging more in that 20-second span. And it was that long because they just kept coming. I say 40 or 50, might have been more like 75 to 100 birds flying right at my fat head. So welcome to Wednesday. 800-919-3776. I have never had that happen before in my life. I literally thought they were going to attack me, that they were coming for me, that somebody had strapped a buttered roll to my head, which would not have necessarily been that out of the question. And then I got to sneeze. And then we're just off and we're flying, and this is where we are. Good morning. Good morning, big fella. Just knocked over a drink. Light as I put my arms out. Exactly. As I put my arms out just that second, just knocked over my green tea that I get from Starbucks to make it feel like at least I'm doing something remotely healthy. So, what's new in your world? I'd love to know. 800-919-3776. ESPN New York YouTube channel. Let's go. Let's get involved because we do have plenty to get into today. Our guy Jeff Passan is going to join us a little bit later on in the program around the noon o'clock hour, and it would be lovely to get your insights on what you want to know from Passan, but we already know what you want to know from Passan. A lot of it in pertaining to the Mets and the Yankees at the deadline. So we are in that sit and wait zone. Kind of feels like the end of the Knicks regular season. You know, the last month and a half kind of feels like we're just going to be sitting and waiting. And the next target point would be August 3rd at the deadline and what's going to happen. Let's start with the Yankees. We are not assigning enough blame to one individual who has completely flown under the radar. Guys, we can scream and yell every single freaking day about Brian Cashman. And everybody's going to do that. And if we're going to be truthful, like, the man really lives somewhere in the middle. He does deserve a lot of credit for some things, and he also deserves a lot of blame for some things. I have never been the biggest fan over the last 10 to 12 years, but I have come to really just understand that nothing is changing there. As I said yesterday, if he was standing outside a burned-down Yankee Stadium with a gasoline can and a pack of matches and said, I didn't do it, they'd give him a contract extension. So that's not changing anytime soon. Fair? I think more than fair. But one move that he made this offseason could not be debated because of what it was going to mean to the Yankees and the flexibility that it gave them. And if you want to blame Brian Cashman for a lot of I don't want to say what's gone wrong with the Yankees this year, because we're still in a position of gone wrong is a relative term. We're still going to see them in the playoffs. They still may win the division. They still are across the board very much in play for a championship. I'm sorry. Tom, you can't throw that on the screen and expect me to not respond. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. The way things have been going the last few days or so, my focus is not the best. You know, I'm not, when I can get distracted. We used to joke around with Bart that, like, you look up at the TV and you can get distracted very quickly and very easily. That just happened right now as Tom screened the first call of the day to put up. And I will get back to this in a second. Tom just wrote on the screen that Spencer in East Windsor wants to know if MLB should enforce wearing jock straps because the A's player from Rutgers ruptured his testicle. Tom.
Hi.
Challenging couple days, sure. Yeah?
Yeah, we can say that.
Yeah. I think you're getting used to me and to how I operate, but also the fact that I certainly can be distracted. A lot of times I can lock in pretty good, but the last couple of days, a little distracted, as you would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
So in your thought process of screening the first call
Sure.
of Spencer in East Windsor, should MLB enforce wearing jock straps because an A's player from Rutgers ruptured his testicle?
Yeah, that's right.
Did you think in any moment that I wasn't going to look out of the corner of my eye and at the very least see the word jock straps or see the word testicle?
Yeah, I figured it was an attention grabber.
Yeah, not in a great way.
No, but there's no pretty way around that.
So I let's deal with this right now. Spencer, East Windsor. Spencer, you're on.
I am so
ESPN.
sorry.
You have completely
so
derailed my show, Spencer,
distraction.
but please, let's talk about a ruptured testicle.
I thought the interest was because we have the connection of this being to a Rutgers player who I saw play at Rutgers.
I have to admit, I was unaware of a Rutgers player in the big leagues with the A's with a ruptured testicle. I was unaware of that. That story had escaped my purview over the last 48 hours.
I only found out about it at 6 a.m. this morning myself, Carlin. So I'm with you. This is like flash news for sure. Pardon the pun, but Josh Kuroda-Grauer is tearing it up in the major leagues in the short time that he's been in the show. And of course, as a Rutgers graduate, we're excited to see somebody from RU, playing in the show as well. But also it comes in the wake of Jazz Chisholm and his issue with this kind of injury. And I'm just curious, why it is that Major League Baseball doesn't enforce, the protection of our baseball players. Because while Jazz Chisholm, it might be a laugh and a joke, a little bit more serious with JKG. I mean, he's lucky that it wasn't more serious, but we see that there is, in fact, a danger to this. Makes for great jokes at cocktail parties.
No,
Pardon that pun.
I understand. How do you want that enforced? Pants down, boys. Let's see. You got your jock strap on? Yeah. By the way, haven't won one in a really long time. Not since high school baseball, really. Wouldn't it be fair to argue what the actual merits are of that particular apparatus saving you from any injury? Because, frankly, it just always felt like something else that was just sitting there. I mean, it was in the way more than anything else if you're talking about wearing a cup. Am I really doing this? Seriously. So, Tom, this is a lesson in the growing process of your career as a producer, is all this. When you're distracted, don't add something else that's even more distracting to the screen. Just burn it down. Just burn it all down. Unless I'm going to get some calls on some birds attacking people, which if you've been attacked by birds, please feel free at 800-919-3776. Ray, the look on your face when I looked up and just realized what Tom had typed on the screen was one of bewilderment yet amusement at the same time. Can you explain exactly what was going through your mind as you looked at me when I realized what Tom just put on the screen regarding jock straps and the enforcement of rules and ruptured testicles?
I was thinking that the show just took a kick right in the... never mind.
In more ways than one, cowboy. In more ways than one. All right, I'm going to get back to it. My friends. There is somebody with the Yankees that is not getting nearly enough blame for what's going on. What if I told you that there was a player for the Yankees right now in an incredibly critical role who in high leverage situations has an OPS of 606? I don't like throwing numbers at you, and I don't want to throw 1,000 of them at you. But OPS 606. The league average on OPS in high leverage situations, as they call them now, beyond runners in scoring position, high leverage situations. The league average is somewhere between 710 and 730. And this player, this season, has an OPS of 606 in high leverage situations. And you have nary talked about him, other than maybe last week for a little bit. That player is Cody Bellinger. And Cody Bellinger has not caught nearly enough heat for what has gone on this season. Cody Bellinger got $30 million a year for 5 years to stay with the Yankees off of, shockingly, another really good season in his career, one that has been incredibly up and down. Literally won an MVP and then went in the tank for a couple of years with the Dodgers, so much so that they gave up on him. He is capable of doing good things in a consistent fashion, yet we are back finding ourselves in one of those seasons after the first month and a half, 2 months, where he has been atrocious. Since the end of May, he has just been awful. And somehow he made the All-Star game off of the first month and a half to 2 months and then went into cruise control. And since the beginning of May, again, OPS numbers or batting average, whatever numbers you want to look at, awful. Awful. Cody Bellinger brings value in his ability to shift around from position to position, play first base, play the outfield in different spots. He gives you a lot of versatility. But he's also supposed to be somebody that can take more advantage of playing in Yankee Stadium with his left-handed swing. He's got 11 home runs this year. Does that strike you as enough for Cody Bellinger? Certainly doesn't for me. There has not been enough attention paid to his lack of productivity this season, especially since Aaron Judge has been gone. And it's not because he's not getting pitches to hit. Like, I get it, everybody. We want to blame the GM. We want to blame the manager. And we can in different instances. But this is one player who has come to New York and has flown under the radar just in general. And with blame this season, there's no doubt that he has flown under the radar. Now, with the deadline approaching here in a couple of weeks, I have tried to make the case that if you wanted to overpay for more starting pitching and in turn lengthening out the rotation to push a couple of guys back to the pen and strengthen it that way, I would completely understand that. If Tarek Skubal is available and the Yankees have what it takes to get him, which is apparently a young, controllable pitcher and prospects for someone that is a free agent after this season and is certainly going to test the market, well, you have to go and get him. Does that mean Will Warren plus prospects? That's kind of what that means. And yes, top prospects. Does that mean Will Warren and Spencer Jones? Potentially. Potentially it does. I understand all of that. I'm perhaps a little bit less likely to do it considering the return of Max Fried tonight in Game 2. And boy, that is a welcome development considering where the Yankees are at the moment, because Fried now going away from his final rehab start and coming back tonight, that's just even better to see because it's a little boost. It's a little mental boost. But when you're leading up to the deadline and we're talking about right-handed hitting catchers and we're talking about Ryan Jeffers from the Twins, we're talking about Shea Langoliers from the A's, these are really good players that can help you, but are they going to give you enough offensively to really supplement what you are missing at the moment without Stanton, but specifically more so without Judge? Because the Yankees have just shown themselves to be entirely too reliant on one player, and when you pay someone like Cody Bellinger that kind of money last offseason, that can't be the case. You cannot be that reliant on one player. You have to stick with the idea that who you put around Judge, they are there to help you weather the storm. And the Yankees, you want to say they've weathered the storm? Their numbers without Judge are not great. I still think they're capable of winning the whole thing potentially without him if things broke right in the World Series, but certainly capable of at least getting to the World Series without him. So is that we're going to go out and get one of those guys, or is it we're going to go out and pay for Mason Miller and try to put ourselves in a much better position on the back end of the bullpen. And again, young, controllable starter, and we'll work from there. He's available. Here's our guy, Passan, who will be on with us later, on the status of Mason Miller and the Padres.
So we put it at 60%.
That's not it.
Mason Miller is definitely available. Now, does that mean that at the end of the day, AJ Preller, who's one of the most prolific traders of all executives in baseball, is going to flip him just a year after acquiring him for Leo DeVries, who's one of the best prospects in baseball? Not necessarily. But the Padres need, it's not prospects, the Padres need major league ready starting pitching. And if you're a team like the Seattle Mariners that has a deep rotation already, and in Ryan Sloan and Cade Anderson, two of the best pitching prospects in baseball, on the cusp of being ready for the big leagues, it's something you have to consider. If you're the Yankees and you can pair him with David Bednar and Tim Hill and Brett Hedrick at the back end of the bullpen, Fernando Cruz, it makes you just so much better and so much deeper. And Mason Miller is the most dominant player in baseball at his field. If the ninth inning comes around and Mason Miller is coming in, you pretty much know that the game is over.
It's a fair point. And what Passan is saying here is what we've been talking about, not just with the rotation, but strengthening a strength. You want to add to the pen. I don't want to talk about the mid-level names. I need to talk about the bigger guys. I need to talk about not even the big names, but the guys who are dominant at what they do. You have a chance, Skubal, if the Tigers actually wanted to trade him, dominant at what he does. Mason Miller, as a closer, dominant at what he does. When you have a chance to get the difference-making player at a position, you can't be left on the sidelines anymore. Find different ways to do it. Find different ways to get after it. Find another way to skin the cat, so to speak. Which, by the way, like, who skins cats? Like psychopaths. Tom, you know psychopaths. Debatable if you've been one. You know anybody who skins cats? Yeah, I'm assuming there's at least one or two cat skinners in your life.
I'm glad you have that assumption, but unfortunately none come to mind.
Okay. Well, anyway, love to know where that phrase came from, skin a cat. But the point is, there are numerous ways to win in baseball. And when you're trying to find a way to navigate your way through a bad American League without your superstar player, well, to me, that is just one that when you have a good enough team without him to still win an awful lot of games, you can't just chalk it up to, well, we're not going to get home because we don't have the guy. So we don't want to overpay for people that aren't dominant at what they do, or we don't want to overpay for guys who are dominant, frankly. Stop worrying about overpaying right now. Yankees, overpaying has to not be a thing. Be the Yankees again. And they spend enough, but be the Yankees again. I don't think that's asking too much. 800-919-3776. I do want to spend a minute or two on, a couple of minutes on this, because of what transpired yesterday, and did get an awful lot of calls, texts, supportive from people regarding what was going on. And as I said yesterday, I'm certainly not going to speak for my partner, because Bart's always going to be my partner. He's my buddy. He is. I love him to death. But I just know that what this show has been over the last year and a half, 2 years since I came back, and I know what he's meant. I know what he means to Alan. I know what he means to everybody around here. I just want to emphasize again to you guys that this is somebody that handles himself the right way all the time and does a great job of understanding landscapes and understanding that, like, there's a lot more coming his way. And the last thing I wanted was for this to sound like it just wasn't going to be, it was just kind of like a funeral. We are sitting here and we are not splitting the atom in what we're doing. Like, we are the distraction in the sandbox. And that point has never kind of been lost on me, certainly never lost on him. As I point out again, I won't speak for him. He'll speak when he wants to speak. I love him. He is my brother. But I also know how much he loves you guys. So many of you that have come out to so many of our appearances, and so many of you that have hung with us over the last year and a half, that has meant everything to him, has meant a lot to me, and we thank you for that. And we thank you for a lot of your supportive messages over the last 24 hours. I'd be stupid to try to even tell you that I haven't been a little bit distracted, because of course I have. I know what he's dealing with. I know what it's like. But I also know that things work out in particular ways for reasons. And I have too many friends, and Bart has too many friends where that has been the case as well. So he's just an incredible individual, and I have cherished the 2 times that I've had opportunities to work with him. And I love him. And I think he knows that. We spoke after the show yesterday, but again, I'm not going to talk about any of that. Just, you know, our bond will always be incredibly strong. And I thank him for really everything, because my brother calls people like Bart your back alley people. People that when you are walking down into a dark alley and you don't know what's in front of you and you don't know who's about to come after you, you got people behind you that you know are going to be there and you can trust and have your back the entire way. That is Bart Scott. And I will always hope to be that for him, and more likely than be that, aspire to be that, because I don't think I could ever really match what he is in that regard. Anyway, 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. It is Carlin on ESPN New York. We do have much to get to. We do have Jeff Passan later in the show. He will discuss everything leading up to the trade deadline and give us some more insight there. But I do want to get your take on the Yankees right now. And if you had your choice at the deadline, is it Skubal? Is it Mason Miller? Is it a right-handed bat at catcher? What is it right now that's going to get them home? Because for me, I am starting to close more and more in on Mason Miller as it being my guy. 800-919-3776. Plus, I can't believe I'm going to be asking this question. Most disappointing franchise in New York? We have one less to choose from thanks to the events of this year, but I want to get your answers on that. Bart and Carlin, ESPN New York.
D'Agostino, Law Bite Back. This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates. Did you know Social Security takes money out of every paycheck you earn? Paycheck after paycheck. And you're not supposed to touch that money until you're 67? What if you can't work? What if you need that money now? The system is challenging and most people get denied. That's a fact. D'Agostino & Associates has the experience to win, and we win a lot. If you filed for Social Security disability benefits and were denied, let us appeal. Call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. Bite back means fight back. 1-800-248-3222. We'll fight to get you paid. D'Agostino & Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and handles Social Security disability claims and appeals. Remember, if you've been denied, call us first. 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. D'Agostino & Associates. We win a lot.
What a horrible traffic morning at the George Washington Bridge into the Bronx. The latest problem is a crash on 95, the Cross Bronx eastbound. The ramp to the Deegan is closed because of a crash involving a tractor trailer and a car. We're watching it on our cameras. And the right lane is also closed on the main line Cross Bronx. So that is horribly backing things up both ways, especially in from New Jersey. 60 minutes plus. An accident just cleared on 80-95 express lanes coming in to the merge by the Turnpike out by Ridge Ridgefield Park. Lincoln and Holland Tunnel slightly better. And on the Bell Parkway eastbound by Pennsylvania Avenue, an accident blocking one lane. I'm Bob Williams on 880 ESPN New York.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Miller time. People think it just happens, but that's not true. You know what you gotta do? You gotta go say hello with some beers. Make the plans. Forget the couch. Go to that thing. Play the game. See them in person. Talk to that stranger. Live a little. Small acts of rebellion that bring us together. Because legendary moments start with a light. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2026 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
This is Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
NBA champion, finals MVP, Jalen Brunson. Describe the experience of what the last month has been like for you.
That's a loaded question. It's been a roller coaster, honestly. Obviously, once we won and everything was up high and everything was amazing. The parade and all of that, just everything after we won was just amazing.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Weekdays at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Monkey Sports, built by players for players, is your one-stop shop for hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and more. Find top-name equipment and expert in-store services like sharpening, break-ins, and relacing. Shop in-store at Monkey Sports in Farmingdale or Woodbridge or online for all the top brands. Whatever your sports, Monkey Sports gets you game ready fast. Monkey Sports, where athletes shop.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off and to wear a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Sponsored by the New York State Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46, and I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Everyone needs to take care of their mental health, even running back Bijan Robinson.
When I'm on the field and feeling the pressure, I usually just take a deep breath. When I'm just breathing and seeing what's in front of me, everything just slows down. It just makes me feel great before I run the play.
Just like Bijan, we all need a strong mental game on and off the field. Make a game plan for your mental health at loveyourmindplaybook.org.
Love your mind.
Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Just reading where some of the guys from Spain who won the World Cup, a couple of the stars, were given their weight in tomatoes for winning the World Cup. Like that was a prize for them when they got home. Don't they have that big tomato fight over in Spain, too? Isn't that a thing every year?
There's a tomato fight in Spain?
I know they got the running of the bulls, but I think there's like a big tomato fight that happens in Spain every year. But let me ask you a question. Like all you're doing, if you give me, so apparently these two players, one of them is 150 pounds and one of them is 185 pounds. Gavi, the player, Barcelona's Gavi, checked in at 150 pounds. Ruiz, which is Fabian Ruiz, he is 185 pounds. What are you doing with 185 pounds of tomatoes in a day? Like how long is a tomato going to stay good? Like all you're doing is giving me work at that point. Yeah, I got to make sauce, and I got to hope the sauce like stays, and I got to make like the world's largest lasagna at that point. Like, how does any of that help me? Like, am I making 50 pounds of salsa? What am I making with the tomatoes? A massive salad? I'm not doing that given what's going on with salad these days.
Well, so you might be underestimating what could be happening here. For all we know, we have the hot dog eating contest every 4th of July. Maybe Spain has like a tomato eating contest that's along those lines. Maybe they have their own version of Joey Chestnut. And maybe the Spanish players are going to take part in it as like a celebrity entry. I'm probably reaching for something here.
La Tomatina. That's what you were talking about.
The fight?
The food fight, yes.
The food fight?
Tomatoes.
Yeah, okay. Then that is in Spain, is it not?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Tom, I know you tried there. A good try.
The tomato, very versatile, unlike Tom, apparently.
How did it never catch on as a hand fruit? I'll never know. 800-919-3776. Frank, New Rochelle, is up on ESPN New York. Hello, Frank. What's going on, Big Cat?
Hey, what's up, Chris? I like your thought about Mason Miller. The prospects for the Yankees, I know Cam and Rice, when they produce right away, it's funny, it seems like they don't let him develop. So with a guy like Jones, the shortstop down in the minor, Lombard, look, if they got to go to get Miller, the time is to win right now. Like you said yesterday, the American League doesn't scare us. You put Bednar in the 8th inning, Miller in the 9th, that kind of eliminates, hopefully, those 2 innings. And with our starting pitching, hopefully can go to the 5th, maybe 6th. Then you're talking about 1 inning to take care of. I would make the trade. I don't know who they're probably asking for the best prospects that we have, obviously. If they're asking for 3 or 4 of them, well, I don't know about that. I'm not sure about 3 or 4, the Jones, Lombard, the top guys. But you're going to have to give up something to get a guy like Miller. But I agree with you 1,000%. Now's the time. If you're going to do it, that's their biggest weakness right now. And a bat. I don't know if they're going to be able to get a bat. I think Wells, if you get a pitcher like Miller, Wells is tough, man. He's batting 150. And 150 is that's a tough nut.
The problem you're going to run into with Mason Miller, if you're worried about giving up too much, don't. Because we're talking about somebody who's dominant at what he does, and we're talking about somebody that's 27 and still has, 3 arbitration-eligible years? Something like that. So you're not losing him anytime soon. He's making $4 million this year. Like Mason Miller, to me, would be the kind of guy that the Yankees in every way would want to get here because the price tag will start to go up a little bit, but it doesn't get anywhere near unmanageable until he's a free agent. And he's not a free agent until 2029. You get at least 3 more years available with him. You don't mess around at all. David and Elizabeth is up next. ESPN New York. What's up, Dave?
Hey, we didn't really get to speak too much on the Mets yesterday and, about what's going on in that chaos. But I wanted to say that you're right, though. If they could get the manager right, they could get a whole bunch of other things in order. But, not for nothing, Stearns does still have to go because he's the one getting us the recipe and, he's the one getting us the ingredients, and they're terrible. Terrible.
So
yesterday I seen Luis Roberts hit a nice home run, but still never available. Go ahead, ask.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Is there one thing for the rest of this season, not whether it's on the field or off, but most likely off, is there one thing that the Mets can actually do that's going to give you some confidence in where it's headed moving forward?
The only way I can get some confidence in, thinking that moving forward that they're going to move in the right direction is if they come together as a team and just, play decent baseball. Yeah, you're not going to win plenty of games, but if they could have, some kind of team camaraderie where you see they're together and, the clubhouse isn't split in 2, yeah, I'll take that and be like, okay, we're moving in the right direction. Now you just got to get a better roster. That's the only way I'm going to feel comfortable about this whole situation because, like you see, I keep deflecting baseball because we stink. I can't talk baseball with anybody. As soon as I bring up Mets, they start laughing. And it's embarrassing. So,
honestly, we can't talk about baseball in the actual games themselves right now because with the Yankees, it's like playing out the string with the rest of the regular season like we were with the Knicks. We know they're going to be in the postseason. It's just what's that going to look like? And with the Mets, I'm sorry, guys, I can't get excited about Zach Thornton yet in 18 scoreless innings. It's great, but I'm not getting excited about it yet.
You know what's so crazy, right, Chef? That you're bringing that up, and it's like, Mets and Jets always letting me down. But I love my organization, so I'm never going to give up on them. So they got to get it right sometime, Chef. And I don't know, man. I'm itching for training camp. That's the only thing I can look forward to. And I hope our guy is good, man. I don't know what the future is for him, but I hope he's good. You know, that's our guy. Like, he's a family guy to me personally. I know we're not family, but, you know, he gets me through my weeks. You get me through my weeks. And, I got nothing but love and respect for you two gentlemen. So, I hope he's doing all right.
You're the best, D. And he's doing okay. He's all right. He's doing okay. Again, I don't want to speak to any more of it because it's not fair to him. He knows how I feel about him. He knows how you guys feel about him because you have made that very clear. But he'll be all right. And I don't even like saying that. Like, that's when you're in that situation, if you haven't been there before, when it happened to me, the number one thing that I got a lot of was sympathy, and like, people mean well. There's not an emotion or a feeling or something that I personally can't stand more than sympathy. Just to give you a little look into me. We can have a full-on therapy session because I am paying more than enough for that. And if any of you you don't even have to be licensed. Let's put it this way. I am not great at filing insurance forms and getting things covered. And when it comes to therapy and trying to prove, like, they could just spend an hour with me to figure out just how screwed up in the head I am. Oh, you know what? Approved. We'll pay it. They could just do that and figure that out. So if you guys want to start, like, being my therapist, we can do that. I will take, if it's free, give me 3. 3 damn sessions. Bart Carlin, it still is on ESPN New York.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
That's ESPNNewYorkContests.com.
There are a million reasons to love New York. Making your budget stretch isn't one of them. According to an independent study, Amazon prices average 14% lower than other retailers. Get food, fashion, furniture, and more shipped straight to your building. That's how Prime members have saved over $2 billion on grocery and household items. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
If the Giants start out the season 0-3, forget it. What's going to happen to 65 or sooner? Well, kill it. It's a little adversity.
You have a 5-year plan that after 3 weeks you're going to punt on.
Yeah, I can't handle 0-3 again.
Maybe it's a 10-year plan.
70 or sooner. But that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. No, how could it?
No, it's not going to.
DiPietro and Rothenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Fans arrive early at Yankee Stadium on Saturday, August 8th for the 78th Annual Old Timers Day presented by Fresh Direct. See Yankees legends put on the pinstripes again and take the field at Yankee Stadium. Relive memories of your favorite former Yankees and make new memories with your family. After the Old Timers Day ceremony and game conclude, stick around to see your Bronx Bombers take on Atlanta. Get your Saturday, August 8th Old Timers Day tickets presented by Fresh Direct at Yankees.com/tickets today.
In sports, the tape never tells the whole story. Hiring is no different. AI can make candidates look like an MVP on paper, so knowing the person and the skills behind the resume matters. That's where Robert Half changes the game. Our recruiters combine their expertise with award-winning AI to evaluate skills and fit quickly. Learn how we can find you specialized talent in finance, accounting, technology, and more. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This is the Michael K. Show.
You might all disagree with me on this. 7th game of the World Series. Yankees have to win to be champions. Every single one of their starting pitching is available. I could choose between Garrett Cole, a former Cy Young Award winner. I could choose between Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Will Warren, Ryan Weathers, or Cam Schlittler. There's one guy on the staff that's dominant and great, and that's Schlittler.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as... That's 888-665-0696.
Everyone needs to take care of their mental health, even running back Bijan Robinson.
When I'm on the field and feeling the pressure, I usually just take a deep breath. When I'm just breathing and seeing what's in front of me, everything just slows down. It just makes me feel great before I run the play.
Just like Bijan, we all need a strong mental game on and off the field. Make a game plan for your mental health at loveyourmindplaybook.org.
Love your mind.
Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Foundation, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
I don't understand what it is about regular paper, just like a piece of paper, that is not absorbent when it comes to trying to clean up messes. Because I dropped some, spilled some of my drink earlier, and Tom came in, and he's got, all kinds of Clorox wipes and trying to clean things up, and I'm just taking a piece of paper. And I'm thinking, oh, this'll do it. Not really absorbent. 800-919-3776. This is just a stream of consciousness at the moment, but I do want to get into some stuff with the Mets that we haven't really touched on of late. And when I say we haven't touched on it of late, it's because I've kind of wanted to avoid it, and we've been able to avoid it for several months because of everything that has happened with the Knicks, with the World Cup, with all of the interest that has been out there outside of just awful Mets baseball. Last night notwithstanding, we know what this season has been. When we start to factor in everything involved, the Mets have been the most disappointing franchise in New York sports. They have now taken that title. I mean, the Knicks, it's gone. I don't even know that I would ever say that was definitively the case, but there was certainly a long period of time where it was. But even when I look around and I want to factor in the Giants, which can I really, even though as bad as they have been, can I call them overall disappointing? The most disappointing franchise in New York sports? I don't know that I could do that. They've got titles and all that. The Jets obviously are the number one contender. If they're not going to be in the mix there, and not be number one, they are the number one contender. But the Mets have put themselves in this position where the expectations, because of the owner being willing to spend money, have completely changed. Now, let's be very clear. Steve Cohen is not the problem. Steve Cohen is a big part of the solution, because this is somebody that is not worried about every last dollar and where it's all going and trying to consistently go shopping in the bargain aisle. We know what happened with the Wilpons for the longest time, okay? We know what happened. We are not going back to those days, and none of you want to, as much as you'd want to complain about the owner. But what is lacking here is a philosophy that works here. When we talked about David Stearns, his success had always been graded on the curve of being in Milwaukee. Look at what he is able to do with the Milwaukee Brewers. And boy, if you actually gave him things to work with, imagine what he could do then. Well, so many times there are people who are really good at running organizations when they have very little room for error in the margins, that they are able to go out and win in the margins. We have seen over the last few seasons that while David Stearns certainly was part of the success in Milwaukee, he was not all of it, because they have had plenty of success without him. The Mets now find themselves with someone who is at the top of the organization operating an organizational philosophy that was best suited for a team that did not have the assets it needed to have in order to compete. You know, there's something that we all tend to forget when it comes to the Moneyball philosophy or the analytics or all that stuff. Why did that all happen in the first place? It all happened in the first place because Billy Beane was losing Jason Giambi, another star, and they started leaning into a new way to try to win in the margins. And that's what this is about. For them, it was always finding the undervalued player that can help you compete. So that's what David Stearns was charged with in Milwaukee. He found the undervalued player that would help you compete. And he was able to build a strong farm system with Milwaukee as well. When you come to the Mets, it doesn't have to be that way with this guy as the owner. And they've shown that. They've gone out and spent the money that they have. But I feel like David Stearns still wants to only rely upon that one way of trying to win. And I'm not talking about a cheap way. I'm talking about the analytical philosophy way. If there is really no combination of feel and analytics working together, what's the whole point? What is the whole point? Because here you can do that. There you have to go and try to do other things to go win games. Here, you can buy what you need. And he has taken this money and he has spent it remarkably poorly. What I would be curious about is exactly how is it that he can do that and then come here and have all of this at his disposal and be this bad. I mean, some of the decisions that are made, listen, Juan Soto was a decision that was made by Steve Cohen, and that was not the wrong decision. You can talk about 25, 26 plus 1 or whatever. That's not Juan Soto in this mix. Juan Soto was the right guy to go and get. Was Bo Bichette the right guy to go and get after they didn't get Kyle Tucker? It's debatable, but I think we would all agree you're probably hoping that he continues to hit well the rest of the season so that he opts out. Because do you want to be on the hook for $42 million next year with Bichette when you looked at how the first couple of months of the season went? I don't know that you do. At the very least, you want to make him think about it as opposed to being a complete loss across the board, and then you're stuck. At least give him a chance to think about it. And I think that Bo Bichette will be in that position at the end of the year. All of this to say, if you're David Stearns and you're trying to figure out where it all comes together for you, it's not just going to be in the margins anymore. You might feel like you have more room to make mistakes, but in actuality, the mistakes that you make are just a lot more amplified. Let's call it what it was. You make mistakes in Milwaukee, people look at you like, it's Milwaukee. You know what? Guy's hamstrung to begin with. He's doing the best that he can. Try to make it happen. You make these mistakes here, and you're going to hear more about it. We've seen that with Cashman, although there has been no repercussions for that. And we've seen that now with Stearns. He's not going anywhere, guys. He's going to be the guy in charge of this team for at least next season. So what does fixing it now all look like? Well, for him, the first thing he's got to do is have this not be the most disappointing franchise in New York sports right now. Because that's what it looks like. Are the Mets the most disappointing franchise in New York? When you factor everything in disappointing, where the money is spent and what the results have been, the return on investment, are they the most disappointing? Answer that question at 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. We've got much, much more coming your way. The coach speaks out about the back flipper. Cam Scattaboo, that is on the way. We will hear from John Harbaugh on that topic. We will hear from Jeff Passan, who will join us 1 hour from now to discuss everything that lies in front of the New York Mets and the Yankees as the trade deadline approaches. 800-919-3776.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now or go to carsforkids.org.
7 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
This is Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg.
NBA champion, finals MVP, Jalen Brunson. Describe the experience of what the last month has been like for you.
That's a loaded question. It's been a roller coaster, honestly. Obviously, once we won and everything was up high and everything was amazing. The parade and all of that, just everything after we won was just amazing.
Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Weekdays at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. At Rings End, they're there to help realize your modern design visions. That's why they partner with Marvin. Engineered for big ideas, Marvin Modern Windows and Doors deliver effortless elegance, expansive views, and industry-leading innovation, all in a modular system designed to meet the exacting principles of modern architecture. Experience Marvin Modern at a Rings End showroom today and create something stunning with them. Rings End is a certified Marvin installing retailer.
Progressive presents ways to save money that aren't bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive.
Thanks again for taking me to the game, man. I can't wait to get in there. By the way, what's in the bag?
Oh, I bring my own hot dog and peanuts. Saves a ton.
Savvy. And what about the beach chairs?
Why buy seats when you can save big and bring your own?
We can't get in without tickets.
Tickets? What do you think the portable TV is for?
Don't save money pretending to go to the game. You could save hundreds by switching to Progressive. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
When's the last time payroll was the easy part of your week? With Gusto, it can be. Gusto is the all-in-one platform designed to take the hassle out of managing your team, from payroll and compliance to hiring, onboarding, and more. With Gusto, you can get back 2 full days each month with all the time you've saved. Go to gusto.com today and learn why over 500,000 small businesses choose Gusto. That's GUSTO.com. Gusto.com.
Fans, arrive early at Yankee Stadium on Saturday, August 8th for the 78th Annual Old Timers Day presented by Fresh Direct. See Yankees legends put on the pinstripes again and take the field at Yankee Stadium. Relive memories of your favorite former Yankees and make new memories with your family. After the Old Timers Day ceremony and game conclude, stick around to see your Bronx Bombers take on Atlanta. Get your Saturday, August 8th Old Timers Day tickets presented by Fresh Direct at Yankees.com/tickets today.
ESPN New York is your home for the world champion New York Knicks. WHSQ and WCBS FM HD2, New York.
Carlin, ESPN New York YouTube channel, 800-919-3776. Get involved. Leave your comments over on the ESPN New York YouTube channel, where we will get them involved in the program. Hey, listen, a couple of things here. I have to talk about what this Giants season is going to hold for everybody. And when I say I have to talk about it, it's something that has been kind of gnawing at me a little bit, because I hear Dave talk about his 65 or sooner bit. That's what, Super Bowl 65 or sooner? That's his bit? That the Giants will win the Super Bowl before 65 or sooner? Okay, that's one thing. I hear a lot of people, there are a lot of Giant fans, I'm so blown away by this, that are expecting the Giants to be knocking on the door of a playoff spot. And man, that feels like it's a lot to ask for. Like, at this point, I'm trying to grade the Giants' season on a few things. The number one most important thing for the Giants is not going to be wins and losses this year. The number one most important thing is going to be, have we finally answered the freaking question? Is Jaxson Dart the guy? Because there are too many of you out there that seem to be taking for granted that he already is the guy, that you know he's the guy. I'm not going to deny that he played well last year when he was healthy. But we have seen too many times with quarterbacks, when systems change, when you're a young guy and you have a big first year, you have a good second year, and then it all falls apart on you and it gets away from you. Like, there is not the definitive answer on this quarterback yet that I think people believe there is. You cannot tell me with any sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Conviction that he's definitely the guy. And that's what I'm trying to really ascertain from you guys, because it feels like there are a lot of people that are making the assumption that they have definitively found their guy and the question is answered. Do we think that the question is answered? I don't. Not yet. And this is what I want to hear from you on an 800-919-3776, and also get some of the comments in on YouTube. People are chiming in with comments in regards to this already. Giants are going 6-11, Chris, and I'm a Giants fan. That's from our guy, Black Metronome. Giants' second half schedule is brutal. Yeah, I understand this, but is it really about the 6-11, or is it about what Jaxson Dart actually looks like? And is it about that we can stop talking about drafting another quarterback? Because what do we know? We know that next year's class is going to be that class. It's going to be a big class. Of course, that was supposed to be this past year's class. And that could not have gone in the more opposite direction that it ended up going in. So why can I make an assumption that Jaxson Dart is the guy? I think a lot of you are making an assumption based on the idea that he is someone that, when he was out there, looked like he was in complete control of what was going on. Well, we've got a new offense in place here. And the early whispers have been, maybe not picking it up as fast as you would like him to. Maybe we actually need to pay a little more attention to how he played in college, the kind of systems that he played in, what he was asked to do versus what he's asked to do in the pros. I would argue that what he was asked to do in college was more simplistic than what he's asked to do in the NFL. And that's not exactly an earth-shattering argument. But when it comes to the level of play and the production, when you see development be at a pace that maybe that you expected to be a lot slower than it was last year, gets you excited. It gets you all of a sudden feeling like you have the answers to the test already when you've studied, but you haven't taken the test. You've really just taken a couple of practice tests. And you've done all right on them. And you're excited to then go take the exam because you think you got it all figured out, but you find out that the real deal over the long haul is not just as simple as all the practice tests that are involved with it. That it's actually a lot more complex. So here we sit trying to figure out what a successful Giants season looks like. And I have too many people that I feel like look at a Giants season and think 8-9 wins, knocking on the door of the playoffs, that's where we have to be. That's what we have to get back to. Man, I don't care about the playoffs. I care about knowing I have answers. Is it actually possible for the Giants to win 6 games, but you absolutely know that you have your quarterback for the future? Of course it is. It absolutely is. But don't think for a moment that going into next year, this season, the Jaxson Dart has got it all figured out, and this is a done deal. Remember, you have a new coach in place who runs this organization. You have a GM who has gotten a contract extension, but guys, it's very clear on who works for who. All right? John Harbaugh does not work for Joe Schoen. Joe Schoen works for John Harbaugh. What do you need, boss? You got it. I'll go get it for you. And part of that you have to consider is, what is John Harbaugh going to think about Dart if Dart's not picking up the offense fast enough and the Giants offensively don't look great and Dart looks more confused? Well, what are the things that we're going to lean on immediately for us? We're going to lean on, well, he was off-season. He was a lot of places. He was kind of all over the place. Does he really get it yet? I don't know. These are the things that you'll talk about. But what I want to know about Dart is, when do we say to ourselves, we don't have to think about drafting a quarterback next year yet? Because if you're saying that right now, you're jumping the gun. Tom, you're a Giant fan. I will bring you into this discussion. What is the year 2026 about for you as a fan with the Giants? Is it about winning more games? Is it about the quarterback? What is it about?
To me, it's got to be about the quarterback and how John Harbaugh can influence the entire franchise. We've been in such the pillars of despair for over 10 years now. We've made the playoffs, I think, twice in that span. We sometimes get these good starts with coaches, and then we tumble off. Right now, I don't expect a playoff-type jump for the Giants, even though I think most expectations of fans, at least my expectation, would be immediately, okay, you got John Harbaugh? You should double your win total from last year. Will it feasibly happen? I don't know. The big thing I want to see, though, is that jump from Jaxson Dart and whether or not he can truly become a franchise quarterback for the New York Giants, which I believe he is already on the fast track to becoming of the Giants.
No. Answer that question. So you still have the question. You're because there are a lot of people that feel like, let's put this on the poll at the ESPN New York YouTube page right now on the YouTube channel. Do the Giants definitively have their guy, their quarterback for the future in Jaxson Dart? Do they definitively, have they answered the question? Has Jaxson Dart answered their question at quarterback for the future? Phrase that however you want, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Or are you still waiting to find out? Because there are really a lot of people that have taken this and run with it and just assumed that they're home. And so many of these guys have good years early, and then maybe things change in terms of the coaching staff. Maybe they get a little bit too overconfident with what they're doing. Maybe they aren't fully mature enough. We've seen too many of those kind of quarterbacks, the guys who have just not been mature enough to know what they don't know. And it feels like there has been feels like there has been a large assumption that Dart was definitively the guy. I'm curious to hear this, and I have not heard this clip before. I'm going to play it for you right now. Our guy, Jason McCourty, on Unsportsmanlike, talking about who's going to be with the Giants longer, Jaxson Dart or John Harbaugh. That's right. I can't push the button because Don broke the thing.
I would say Jaxson Dart off the standpoint of you hope that this combination works, and he's a lot younger than a John Harbaugh from that standpoint, and maybe how long they want to do it. If we believe in John Harbaugh as much as we can say is him getting paid the way he got paid, what success looked like with Baltimore with the Ravens, my thought process is Jaxson Dart is going to end up better because John Harbaugh is there as his head coach, as a veteran type of guy that he is. So the way we look at Jaxson Dart right now should not be the way we look at Jaxson Dart a year from now.
This is 100% true, and I get what Jason is trying to say, but even at the beginning, was he really selling it? He's like, I'm going to say it's going to be Dart because of Harbaugh, because of how Harbaugh is going to improve him and how they're going to work together. May very well be true. May very well be true. And you certainly want Dart to be here longer than Harbaugh because that means Harbaugh, at the very least, has been able to mold him into a franchise quarterback, and the Giants, no matter who the coach is, don't have to worry about that. Can they win 6 games this year? And you feel like they have that question answered? Am I nuts here that I feel like there's a lot of overly optimistic Giant fans? Am I nuts here to suggest that? Because there seem to be a lot of Giant fans that are of the mindset that, no, our question's answered. We've got our guy. Ray, you are what I would call an objective observer because you're dead inside. You don't really have any kind of fandom. That's long been beaten out of you after Jet broadcasts or whatever. But fair to say, you're pretty much the Tin Man. There's no heart in there when it comes to sports fandom anymore. Fair?
Oh, yeah. I can read it right down the line.
Okay. That's fair. When you listen to Giant fans right now, are they just way too out of whack on what all of this is right now? Or on what this is already?
I think people are out of whack on Jaxson Dart. Obviously, there should be some hope with Jaxson Dart. Where I think the Giants fans should be excited is the John Harbaugh of it all. That's what makes it feel like that Jaxson Dart can succeed.
I 100% agree with everything that you just said. The questions about the quarterback are going to be there until you've got at least 2 to 3 years under your belt. Because remember how all of this is designed right now. You pay the quarterback after 3 years when you have that answer. This is the way they wanted it structured, because it used to be that the guy who was drafted at the top of the draft and in the first half of the first round was going to get a ton of that guaranteed money early without really having done anything in the league. And that was something that owners wanted completely restructured so that they didn't have to pay guys that hadn't done a damn thing and could walk in the door and just collect their check and not work harder at being a great player. It's not what they were looking for. They were looking for more cost certainty on guys that they could trust. It still happens where guys get paid and they don't pan out. I mean, look at what Arizona did with Kyler Murray. It's not that Murray didn't pan out, per se. I think he's better than maybe he's gotten credit for. But the Cardinals were at an in-between spot. Like, the Giants can't find themselves at an in-between spot a year from now or 2 years from now when it's time to pay him. Like, that has to be yes or no. And the way that people throw away these guys so quickly now, you cannot convince me that there's not a chance that the Giants are trying to draft a quarterback in the first round next year. New coach in place who's running everything, and a young quarterback who I honestly believe still has some maturity concerns. I don't think these are unfair questions to ask. I really don't. But then there's this. I was really surprised to hear this from Adam Schefter yesterday on the Pat McAfee show.
The health of this team, Cam, Jaxson Dart, Malik Neighbors, those guys are all healthy. They're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a playoff team if those guys stay healthy and play the majority of the season. I think they can go to the playoffs. I really do. But Jaxson Dart takes too many hits, and Malik Neighbors is coming off the knee injury. Cam Scatterbo is doing backflips.
These guys got him.
If those three guys are healthy on the field for a better part of 17 games, they're going to make a real playoff run.
Make a real playoff run. Wow. Adam is not a guy that throws out the hot take like that every once in a while. He rarely does that. He's more a factually based guy, but he was getting into it right there. And I feel like a lot of people feel that way with the Giants, and I'm not really sure why that is. The question is not definitively answered yet. It's just not. Here's some of the comments coming in on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Felix Cruz, lifelong Giant fan. JD doesn't convince me yet. We're not there. It's been one season. I've had more than one person bring this up. Why am I pumping the brakes on Dart when he was a top 15 quarterback last year without his number one? That from Money Cyclops. Well, I get it. As a rookie, he was a top 15 quarterback when he was out there playing. Did I miss it in top 15 means top 5? Because the last time I checked, top 15 is right in that meaty part of the curve. Like, that's where I lived in my grades. Right smack in the middle. Not trying to impress anybody, which Dart clearly is trying to do. But top 15 without your number one as a rookie, I get the point that you're trying to make. There were a lot of good things that were done. But did that ultimately make you know that he's the guy? Switching into a new coach and a new offense and somebody that is still young and has shown the propensity to have some immaturity to him. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. I'll get to more of the ESPN New York comments on the YouTube channel. 5-win Giants. Let's go. That's from Dan Ba. Again, I'm not making this at all about wins and losses this year. What are you making the Giants season about? Is it about Dart? Or are you already wholeheartedly convinced he's the guy? Or is it about winning as many games as possible and being a playoff team this coming year. 800-919-3776. Billy is in the truck. Hello, Billy. What's up, baby? How are you?
Hey, what's going on? Yo, real quick, I just want to wish Bart the best. Oh, God, my fault.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just wanted to wish Bart the best. I thought he was one of the best radio personalities at this station, but what do I know, right?
Listen,
but
he is just the best. That's the way I can describe him. He is the best. Anyway.
Yeah, I got no worries for him. He gonna figure it out. But as for the Mets, I mean, they almost have to be one of the most disappointing teams in it, and it should be the Jets. If you look at it on paper, with what they did in 24 and all this and that, I was actually pretty jealous of them as the Yankee fan in 24. That looked like a real fun team and everything, and just to see it go from there. But it's just with the payroll and everything, it's embarrassing, and but I don't, I'm not butthurt about it still, but I'll smile every single time I see a losing season with Soto. I hope he enjoys his suite, his mother's wardrobe, security, everything.
So you're the Yankee fan.
But yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean,
caught that. Yeah. Stop.
But it's just. I mean, I do feel bad. I do have a lot of Mets fans in my life, and I do feel bad for them.
Yeah, I can really sense that.
I do hope they. Yeah, hey, I got a bit of a heart, Carlin. I'm not a big fella, but I got a big heart, man.
But you just sat there and said every losing season for Soto is basically a gift from God. But no, I got a heart. Come on. Are you better than that? Apparently not. Let's be clear. Apparently not. Zuffa Boxing makes its New York City debut Sunday, July 26th, live from the Infosys Theater at Madison Square Garden with a can't-miss double main event. Brooklyn's own Edgar Berlanga taking on Stephen Butler in a 10-round super middleweight showdown, plus undefeated former super lightweight world champion Richard Hitchens faces Ricardo Salas in a 12-round welterweight bout. Want to be there in ESPN New York? Hey, we got your chances to win tickets. Just open up the ESPN New York app, find the contest tile, and submit your entry. Don't miss this huge night of boxing brought to you by Madison Square Garden, or get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. I am still rattled by what happened this morning when I came through the Holland Tunnel and parked in the city in a parking lot about 2 blocks away. For the first time in my life, I turned out of the parking lot, and literally, it was like a gang coming around a corner. I was swarmed by pigeons. There had to be 75 of them if there was 5. It was amazing, and not in a good way. But, I think that as we look around in life right now, and certainly with the events of the last couple of days, we have to try to look for the little silver linings, the little positive things as this happens. Like, no joke, I thought these birds were attacking me. I thought, oh, what else, Jesus? Just take me now. Honestly. What else you got for me today? I was like Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump, climbing to the top of that mast in the middle of the storm. Go ahead! Bring it! And here's a bunch of birds flying at you. But then, sometimes out of the mouths of babes, or Tom Bauer, you realize that you were lucky. Because Tom, during a break just a little while ago, said, well, did any of those birds get you with a bomb on the head? Any of those pigeons deliver a little extra present for you up top? And the answer was no. Have I had that happen before? Oh, yes, I have. I've had that happen with a seagull. I know Tom's had that happen with a seagull. It's not a fun experience. Out in a fishing boat, I'm getting sick anyway. My dad's got me out there trying to take in some mackerel. And, the next thing you know, there's a bird flying right over my head. And it was almost like it was dropping a napalm right on top, like just targeting away. And even worse, that was back when I had hair, so that made it a whole lot more difficult to get it out of there. Tom, what was your seagull dive bomb experience?
So I was on the dock with my friends walking to someone's boat that we know. And this was in the middle of winter when it was like maybe 30 degrees out after we had just gotten done eating dinner. And so I'm walking on the dock, and I'm walking under an awning. But I guess I wasn't under it far enough because there were a bunch of seagulls hanging out on top, and one of them decided, I really hate that blonde kid from New Jersey. And it landed...
Are you blonde or are you a ginger, Tom?
I've got blonde hair. No ginger hair in there.
Ray, is that blonde or is that ginger?
Maybe it's the strawberry blonde that people like to go with.
Yeah, I would say a strawberry blonde or a dirty blonde. That's probably accurate.
But you're really trying to stay away from the ginger thing.
Yeah, you're trying to imply that I have no soul, I think.
No. I'm not anti-ginger. I've never been anti-ginger. I think gingers are misinterpreted. I think they're fine people.
Are you saying that as a former ginger yourself?
I was never a ginger.
No. I wouldn't know.
No, you wouldn't because you've never known me with hair.
Exactly. But at any rate, the seagull decided, I hate that blonde kid from New Jersey, dropped it right on the front of my head, and now I then have to proceed to figure out, I'm at the middle of the dock, how do I clean this up? So I run back into the marina, and I run toward the bathroom. Well, what I'm failing to mention in this story is that at this marina, there is, I guess, a reception hall, and there was a bunch of people getting ready for a wedding that day. So, naturally, all the groomsmen are waiting in the hallway, and the bridesmaids are in the hallway getting ready, and they see this kid with bird you-know-what on his head walking through the hallways trying to run to the bathroom, trying to grab, like, a paper towel. So that was quite an embarrassing experience.
I think that's good luck, isn't it, for a wedding, for a couple going to exchange vows, have a strawberry blonde kid with bird poop on his head running into your ceremony?
It's good luck for them because they're not the one who had to succumb to that seagull's you-know-what.
I just could not get over the fact that these birds were just flat out attacking me. And then, but as you pointed out, like I didn't get hit by this. And that's a miracle in and of itself. Because when I'm telling you, this was like the birds. This is exactly what it was like.
I think you're evil. Evil!
Yeah, exactly. So that's what it was.
So do you think this is the start of the Hitchcock movie for you? Or do you think there could be a second attack later on?
I'm hoping not. I think it was just the fact that somebody had thrown a roll on the ground nearby, and because they kept going past me. And I didn't even draw contact, which was, oh, my God, just mercifully wonderful that I didn't. Because those pigeons are those are some dirty birds, man.
Dirtier than the Eagles down in Philly?
Oh, much. Much. Much, much, much. I just couldn't get over it. And thank God, like, I'm just picturing now, Tom's making me see the bright side of, hey, what about if you would have gotten hit? Yeah, that would have sucked. That would have sucked to catch a bird poop on my head. I mean, it would have been appropriate for what's gone on the last couple days, but, it would have sucked even more. Audio files on the way. Bart Carlin, ESPN New York, and on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Tom, why don't you preview for us just a little bit what I'm going to hear in audio files coming up?
Well, sure. We haven't heard from John Harbaugh yet because, of course, everybody's got to weigh in on Kim Scadaboo's failed backflip at Fanatics Fest. And, of course, the head coach of the Giants weighed in about that and whether or not he's annoyed or whatnot. Also, Rich Paul has been talking a lot about LeBron James recently. And by a lot, I mean there's one comment in our system about it, telling the people what to expect out of this whole situation. And maybe, just maybe, you'll hear a little bit of Buster Olney from this morning talking about the Yankees trade deadline.
I like it. Bart Carlin, ESPN New York.
Don't we have a deal with the pigeons?
Of course we have a deal. They get out of the way of our cars. We look the other way on the statue defecation.
Right. And these pigeons broke the deal. I will not accept the blame for this.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
If the Giants start out the season 0-3, forget it. What's going to happen to 65 or sooner? Well, kill it. It's a little adversity.
You have a 5-year plan that after 3 weeks you're going to punt on.
Yeah, I can't handle 0-3 again.
Maybe it's a 10-year plan.
70 or sooner. But that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. No, how could it?
No, it's not going to.
DiPietro and Rothenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
D'Agostino Law Bite Back. This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, and I know how a serious accident can change your life just like that.
I'm Jenna D'Agostino, and I understand that with pain comes medical bills and time out of work. Let us get you justice.
This is John Ryan, the closer. For over 35 years, our family has been getting accident victims every dollar they deserve.
I started this firm for the injured so they can bite back against the insurance companies.
Our legacy is to get you justice. Bite back.
To get you paid, bite back.
At D'Agostino & Associates, bite back means fight back. When you're hurt and they blame you, we bite back and get you every dollar you deserve. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey, so call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222. 1-800-248-3222. I've been there, and I'll be there for you.
When you manage an active facility, disruption is not an option. Tricon Construction specializes in healthcare, commercial, and industrial environments where work needs to happen without shutting operations down. That takes detailed planning, clear communication, and safe, disciplined execution. Because when patients are inside, tenants are working, or production has to keep moving, every decision matters. Tricon understands how to work around your business professionally, safely, and efficiently. For complex work inside active facilities, choose Tricon Construction. Visit triconbuilds.com. That's triconbuilds.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
When care matters most, experience matters more. The Allure Group is redefining rehabilitation and long-term care across New York with 6 convenient locations. Their expert clinicians create personalized care plans to help you recover, rebuild, and get back to what matters most. From short-term rehab to long-term care, Allure is committed to comfort, dignity, and results. To learn more, visit allurecare.com. The Allure Group, where care meets compassion.
In a world parched for excitement, one drink will emerge. Twisted Tea, the refreshing thrill ride of flavor. Recreating its classic role as the hard iced tea that goes down smooth. Twisted Tea doesn't just taste like real iced tea, it's made with real brewed tea and a 5% kick of alcohol. Taste the adventure with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Carlin, ESPN New York. ESPN New York YouTube channel, 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN. The poll we ran a little while ago, is Jaxson Dart definitively the guy for the Giants 56% say no at the moment. See what I'm talking about? I actually thought there was a lot more delusion among Giant fans, and that's a strong word, to say you definitively have the guy. But I'm a little surprised that number is out there, that's at 56% in the no column. All right. How about some audio files with Tom Bauer?
The audio file.
All right, Tom. Let's say we get to it.
All right, let's do it.
Let's get to it.
Yeah, let's do it indeed. So we started off the show talking about Mason Miller and the Yankees trade deadline, this, that, and the other thing. And we didn't play a cut from Buster Olney, who was on DiPietro and Rothenberg with Dan Grassa and Rick this morning. And Buster chimed in on the Mason Miller situation, and he's hearing that a trade, let's just say it's likely to happen.
Very interesting to talk about Mason Miller of the San Diego Padres. I had an executive say to me yesterday, the Padres are going to trade Mason Miller. According to Fangraphs, their chances for making the playoffs are at 11.8%. And so pretty bleak there, and we'll see what happens. This is the one time a year where small sample size matters. AJ Preller, the general manager of the San Diego Padres, as one GM said to me yesterday, he loves to transact. He has no problem making deals and flipping names, and we know this because of Juan Soto. He makes a big deal to get Juan Soto. He hasn't for a year and a half, and he flips him to the Yankees, who have experience making big deals with A.J. Preller. And something else to remember, when you look around the landscape of contending teams, they already have a closer. The Dodgers have Edwin Diaz coming back at some point. The Braves are well-suited, at the back end. Their priority is going to be adding a starting pitcher. Last year, the Phillies traded for Johan Duran, who's one of the best closers in baseball. The Red Sox have a Aroldis Chapman. So who in the market could step up and be willing to pay that price? Yankees, Mariners. I think the list is short.
Mason Miller, to me, is the answer with the Yankees. I would not have been averse at all if we were talking about Tariq Skubal, but now that you get to see Max Fried return tonight, and, we'll see with Rodon, the depth is there. The depth is there. What I like is I can slide a guy or two back when everybody's healthy. And I do believe everybody will be healthy by the time the postseason rounds. I can slide a guy or two back and strengthen my bullpen even a little bit more. But if I can take Mason Miller and slot him into the ninth inning for the Yankees and Bednar's then an eighth inning guy, man, when you talk about difference makers at the deadline, Mason Miller is a difference maker. Tom, are you going all in on Mason Miller, or are you going elsewhere?
I would probably go Mason Miller. You just really, from what we've seen earlier in the season up through now, it's going to be really, really important to have that number one guy you can totally rely on that will close out the ninth inning for you. I feel like it's been a little scattershot over the past few years, and to get Mason Miller with years of control would be an extreme value that the Yankees cannot afford to lose. And if you listen to Jeff Passan, I'm not going to play the cut, but Jeff Passan said it's really just starting pitching that the Padres are looking for, major league ready starting pitching. So you can think the Yankees have that in Will Warren. I mean, maybe he's not a headlining piece, but if you throw in some other guys, you know what? Like the Juan Soto trade that Buster pointed out, it could be a good match for the Padres and the Yankees.
Jeff Passan coming up and joining us at noon today. Next!
So let's move on to the New York Football Giants. So Cam Scannaboo did a backflip. People are up in arms, yourself included, about it. And John Harbaugh, he weighed in recently about the backflip. This is from Believe in Giants.
Oh, my reaction when I saw it on my phone?
Yeah.
My reaction was I haven't talked to him yet. I'm going to talk to him, I'm sure. But my reaction was this. Dude, at least stick it. You know what I mean? Land the thing if you're going to do it. That was my first reaction. So, Scat's going to be ready to go. And he's been working super hard. He's really been training like crazy. And his mind is on camp. He's healthy. He's ready to roll. And I can't wait to see him out there at practice.
See, that's what you get when you bring in somebody like John Harbaugh to be the head of your organization. That's what we call a diffusing comment when he says, at least stick the landing. Well, diffuse it with a little bit of humor. Yeah, that's what a guy who knows how to run a team understands to do in situations like this. If you think for 1 second that there's not going to be a discussion between Harbaugh or Scatterboo, or there hasn't been already, regarding the backflips and the stupidity, I think you're a little bit missing the boat. My only question would be this. You had the Scatterboo injury happen. Then you had the stupidity at the WWE event where he got into it with Dominic Mysterio, and it's supposed to be a bit, but, like, can't really control what's going to happen with your injury at that point when it starts to get a little physical, and that part's not really planned out. I'm sure something was said then, and now I got to say something again. Like, how many times do I have to say something? Just, he's keeping it nice and easy going right there with that answer. How long do I have to continue to babysit you to where your production does not match what your actions with tinges of stupidity really are there instead? In other words, if the production isn't matching or superseding that, probably not long for this world. Next.
Well, listen, Adam Schefter said if Scat is fully healthy along with Neighbors and Dart, Giants could make the playoffs, and that would put a lot of smiles on faces around here, myself included. So as long as the stupid antics are done with, I think we'll be all right.
Did I miss something? And Scatterboo's an amazing running back yet? Like, Tom, what am I missing here?
I don't think he's an amazing running back yet, but I think some people, he's only played 8 games, so it's a tough sample size. But I think he can actually provide very good value for the Giants. I think people undervalue and underappreciate what Cam Scatterboo was able to bring to the Giants last season. And maybe that's just my biased opinion. But I think he could end up being a guy that they could rely on for at least a few more years.
Ray, have you noticed that Tom has used the phrase, maybe that's just my biased opinion, quite a bit of late?
There's no maybe there. It is your biased opinion.
Yeah, I think we maybe should start a segment called Maybe It's Just My Biased Opinion. But
might have to get him a swear jar.
You get me a swear jar, I'm going to turn in. I might turn into Dave Psycho like Giants type things.
All that money went for naught. By the way, we lost when we bet it all.
Yeah, but did we actually lose though? Because the Knicks won a title, we got to go to City Hall.
I lost money. We lost money. Yes, we lost. We got to do all those things, and that was great. The money.
But listen, in the end, isn't the journey and the fun that you had along the way all
money.
worth it?
No, it's not the journey and the fun. It's money.
Okay, so we're going to be all about greed.
You know what? It's not about greed, Tom. I mean, it was $100 and some that we put down on who did we have to win the
Knicks in 6?
Was it Knicks in 6? Yeah, and instead they had to go win it in 5. I mean, it would have killed you to take a dive. For a game?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Next,
Knicks in 5 sounds better than Knicks in 6. It's just one less visit to Scarlets. That's okay. So, at any rate, Rich Paul, this is the last...
Tom just slipped that in there. Yeah. Listen to Tom.
Oh, listen, that was the plan. But at any rate, Rich Paul...
Take Bart out of the studio, but...
I wonder if Rich Paul's been to Scarlets before, and he's not going to get into this with this cut from the Pat McAfee show yesterday, but he is talking about his client and longtime friend LeBron James and whether or not people, kind of need to chill out a little bit in terms of LeBron's free agency sweepstakes. So let's hear from Rich.
Yeah, just have a little patience with him. Obviously, Pat is his choice. I have a job to do to set the table for him, but it's his choice. In my conversations with Adam, which obviously, Adam, the greatest commissioner of all leagues, we understand where the league is at and things of that nature as it pertains to the schedule, but it's a very conflicting thing because this is a very important choice for him. You cannot rush it. I think he's earned the right not to be rushed. And so it's not a thing where you're toying with people's emotions or trying to make it about anything more than the fact that, hey, this man has a very important layered decision to make across business, across family, across basketball, and basketball is the business, obviously, but, just have to be patient with him. I don't know, Pat. I wish I did know. I don't know.
This is getting longer and longer each and every year, and I keep hearing that phrase. I think he's earned the right to take his time with this. Hey, here's what's amazing to me about it. We're still all paying attention, and we understand that it can still have an influence on the balance of power. but truly, ask yourself this question. How many teams does LeBron definitively take to the level of championship contender? Sixers, I think we would agree, when you have that level of talent. Would he take the Cavaliers to be a championship contender? I don't know that, because you have to think about how everything fits together. Would he take Golden State to that? I'd like to believe so. I made a financial investment in that, assuming that LeBron and AD were going to go there, and now maybe not so much. But I don't know. Like, we know who are the contenders right now. Knicks are the contender. Who else in the East would we say are contenders right now? The Sixers are contenders to begin with. I would argue that right now they're pushing the Knicks above everybody else. The Heat, I guess if you went to the Heat, you could say that takes them to championship level contender. But they're right now, the Heat are still well behind the Knicks, because they don't, outside of Giannis and outside of Bam, like, who's shooting the basketball for Miami at the moment? But LeBron would certainly make a huge difference here. I guess my point is just simply, you are not the impact player that you once were, but because you are who you are, we're all sitting here and paying attention to it. You don't have to just drag it out for every last freaking drop of attention, which is all this is. It's all this is. By the way, we did get a little hint yesterday, didn't we? We'll explain. Bart Carlin, ESPN New York.
It's summertime, so why are you still living with pain? If you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or nerve pain, don't wait any longer. Call Dr. Jay Shaw at Soundwell Pain. He's Ivy League trained, double board certified, no surgery, no long recovery, no relying on pain medication. Just non-surgical image-guided treatments that help you get your life back. With offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood, and most major insurances are accepted. Help is close. Go to SoundwellPain.com. Feel better this summer, not someday.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now, or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
There are a million reasons to love New York. Making your budget stretch isn't one of them. According to an independent study, Amazon prices average 14% lower than other retailers. Get food, fashion, furniture, and more shipped straight to your building. That's how Prime members have saved over $2 billion on grocery and household items. Learn more at aboutamazon.com.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by tax relief advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-9087. 800-575-9087. That's 800-575-9087 or simply visit TRA.com.
Zuffa Boxing makes its New York City debut on Sunday, July 26th with a double main event featuring hometown favorites Edgar Berlanga and Richardson Hitchens in separate bouts, live from the Infosys Theater at Madison Square Garden. Enter for your chance to win tickets on the ESPN New York app. Berlanga takes on Stephen Butler in a 10-round super middleweight showdown, while Richardson Hitchens faces Ricardo Salas in a 12-round welterweight contest. Don't miss this huge night of boxing. Brought to you by Madison Square Garden. Enter to win tickets now on the ESPN New York app.
As far as your nipples go,
Bart Carlin, well, ESPN New York, on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. That's Tom from yesterday commenting on my nipples because I was wearing a shirt yesterday that was not necessarily nipple friendly or was more making them more pronounced, I think was the word that we used. And, Tom seemed fully willing to get into that discussion.
As far as your nipples go.
Yeah, he wanted every bit of it. 800-919-3776. 800-919-ESPN, also on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. As we were discussing just a little while ago, we will have Jeff Passan on at the top of the hour to talk about the trade deadline and the status of guys like Mason Miller and what makes the most sense for the Yankees and what exactly is worth going and doing. And I cannot get away from the idea that we have seen so many of these mid-level guys come in, and we've got to get away from that. Like, if you're going to go and do something, it's got to be the difference-making type of move. And I want to see that happen for the Yankees this time around, even if you don't know what Aaron Judge's health is. Even if you're in a position where Judge may not be back for the postseason at all, you're still good enough to take a run at this. So there are a couple of people who are dominant at their positions. Yeah, I'd like to get a right-handed hitting catcher. I'd like to get Ryan Jeffers or Shane Langelier or somebody like that. But I would also like to see somebody who's dominant at the position, and that's Mason Miller. Now, here's the thing we got to discuss with Mason Miller. He's going to cost you. Mason Miller's got 3 years of arbitration left in front of him. A lot of control. The Padres are going to want an awful lot. There's Miller at that spot, who's dominant. There's Skubal at that spot, who's dominant. And Skubal is someone that is a free agent at the end of the year. But they're still going to want a young, controllable pitcher plus prospects. It's going to take a lot to get Miller, you would believe. For the Yankees at this point, dear God, it's more than worth it, is it not? It has to be more than worth it. I just think about what adding Miller to this group would do to the rotation that you have and then the bullpen that you would have. With Bednar as an eighth inning guy, Hedrick, you're all of a sudden really at the top of pitching staffs across all of baseball, and I am including the Dodgers in that discussion. You add Miller to this group, and then it changes it from, all right, well, we don't have Aaron Judge, we can't win anything, to, wait a minute, we may have the best starting and relieving, best pitching top to bottom we've had in a really, really long time. And that could be enough to carry the day. I know. Too many times in the playoffs, we have seen the Yankees not hit. The bigger reason they haven't hit is because the other team has been pitching exceptionally well. Like right now, I can sit here and tell you that the biggest problem not the biggest, but a problem that hasn't gotten enough attention with the Yankees is Cody Bellinger. But nobody seems to be paying attention to that. Nobody seems to be paying attention to somebody that has an OPS of 606 in high leverage situations this season. Think about that. Cody Bellinger, who is just an all-star, won an all-star MVP because he had a 2-run single in a first inning. That was his single most important contribution of the season. That's just silly. So now Bellinger, who has not done that, when you consider that the average OPS across baseball in high leverage situations, in the clutch, as they say, is somewhere between 710 and 730, and he's at 606 for the year. You lose Judge, you paid this guy $162.5 million, and I had forgotten about the $20 million signing bonus at the beginning. So for this season alone, you were handing Cody Bellinger $52.5 million for year one. A 606 OPS and high leverage. Nobody is talking about that. Well, they can't win without Judge. Yeah. Actually, they can. One or two other guys start doing their job, but then they add someone who's dominant at their position, like Miller, then of course they can win. Of course they can make their way through an average American League at best. And if you have that level of pitching, Yankees might have better pitching than the Dodgers at that point. And that's really saying something. 800-919-3776. All right, Jeff Passan coming up in just moments. Later in the show, we find out, am I the nozzle? Lots of nozzles to choose from. Lots of nozzles to choose from. It's Carlin on ESPN New York.
This is the Michael K. Show.
You might all disagree with me on this. 7th game of the World Series. The Yankees have to win to be champions. Every single one of their starting pitching is available. I could choose between Garrett Cole, a former Cy Young Award winner. I could choose between Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Will Warren, Ryan Weathers, or Cam Schlittler. There's one guy on the staff that's dominant and great, and that's Schlittler.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
Summer in New York just got hotter. Tim McGraw, the Pawn Shop Guitar Tour. Get lost in the songs you love to sing. With special guests, 49 Winchester. Get ready for a summer show you don't want to miss. Northwell at Jones Beach Theater, Friday, July 24th. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the Cadillac Tri-State Concert Series.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
Hi, this is Don LaGreca. Just like the New Jersey Devils bring intensity on the ice, Viking Pest Control brings the same level of protection to your home. And I know because I use Viking at my own place. The season may be over, but pests are always in play. So it's time to lock in your off-season defense. As the pest control provider and proud partner of the Devils, Viking delivers 45 years of trusted experience to keep ants, cockroaches, stinging insects, rodents, mosquitoes, and more out of your zone. And when you bundle pest control mosquito services, you score big savings. One call, one company, total peace of mind. Visit Visit VikingPest.com, protecting your home inside and out.
Harry Douglas here to help you get in on the sweet life with Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy. It's that classic throwback cotton candy flavor, but with zero sugar and a 5-hour energy boost. I keep these with me so I can tackle that sweet tooth with a tasty caffeine kick and no guilty sugary aftermath. Bring on the sweetness with Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy Shots. Cotton Candy 5-Hour Energy. Available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon.
Drip Drop is doctor-developed, proven fast hydration that helps your body and mind work better. Trusted by firefighters, medical professionals, and over 90% of top college and pro sports teams. Drip Drop is engineered to hydrate faster and more effectively than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. Stock up now at dripdrop.com and use promo code RADIO20 for 20% off your first order. That's dripdrop.com, promo code RADIO20.
Monkey Sports, built by players for players, is your one-stop shop for hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and more. Find top-name equipment and expert in-store services like sharpening, break-ins, and relacing. Shop in-store at Monkey Sports in Farmingdale or Woodbridge, or online for all the top brands. Whatever your sports, Monkey Sports gets you game ready fast. Monkey Sports, where athletes shop.
We are moving now.
Electric bikes are everywhere. They are quiet and very fast. Teens ride them on the roads, in bike lanes, but also in places they should not be, like sidewalks and parks.
Look out!
When you ride, wear a helmet. Don't speed. Watch out for pedestrians and cars. New York State and your community have specific rules for electric bikes. Follow them. Go to trafficsafety.ny.gov for more info. A message brought to you by the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
ESPN New York, now streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe today and watch the show. WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Noon, ESPN New York, Carlin. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Also on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. We have spent a lot of time today discussing the deadline approaching, as we will be over the next couple of weeks. Jeff Passan is with us, ESPN MLB senior writer and insider. He is just one of the best, and he gives us the time right now. Jeffrey, good afternoon. How are you?
Christopher, I'm well. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it. So let's just start here, Jeff. If you are the Yankees at the moment, what is the singular most important thing that you need to do by the deadline if we're going to operate under an assumption that Aaron Judge is not back until really late September?
I think you need a bat. Preferably a right-handed bat, preferably a catcher. And, the Minnesota Twins have Ryan Jeffers. He was out for a while back, hit a home run last night, hit a couple this week. He's been the perfect fit for them from the start. And while I understand, Hunter Goodman or Shea Langoliers is who Yankees fans might really want, the price on both of them is going to be absolutely through the roof. And if you have any desire to compound that acquisition of a catcher with maybe an impact relief pitcher or perhaps be in the Mason Miller sweepstakes, then, I think you can get both of those things. But if you're getting the catcher, that might take the level of relief pitcher down a notch lower than you want. So it's going to be interesting to see how Brian Cashman plays this, because while the Yankees do have weaknesses and needs, when you look at them compared to the rest of the American League, it's not that bad. And, baseball is a sport such that its playoffs really are quite the crapshoot, and you have to feel pretty decent about your ability to get through the American League if you're the Yankees. Not necessarily because of what you have, but because of what so many other teams don't.
So with that in mind, let's just say for a moment that some of those right-handed bats are going to be overpriced, although Jeffers is a free agent at the end of the year. With that being the case, do you almost think about taking the approach of, you know what, if I can't do anything offensive, or if I can't be the offensive team I want to be, maybe I just double and triple down on everything I'm doing well, and I'm getting Max Fried back. Maybe I just make that bullpen as strong as possible.
It's not an unreasonable point, and I think all you have to do, and I know it's a little bit different in the postseason, but all you have to do is look at the Padres right now. They're a 500 team. If they don't have their bullpen, they're 10 games under 500. Like they're a legitimately bad team at that point, I think. And the ability for a strong and deep bullpen to carry a team. We have seen it in the regular season. We have seen it in the postseason. And I don't know that that would be the worst strategy, and that's necessarily something that the Yankees have not considered. Every team going into the deadline has a plan, and then a plan B, and then a plan C. And somewhere in there, depending on what the inventory looks like, Chris, the Yankees are going to have to make a decision on how they approach it. And what makes this trade deadline to me so fascinating is that we're probably not going to know strategies until like July 30th or 31st. Like we got another week plus of games to be played to understand what teams are going to be more inclined to sell and what players might be out there.
So if you had to guess, because you're right, it is so much more of a smaller sample size that can determine how a team approaches it. Is this going to end up being a robust market, or is this going to end up being teams that are just in the middle and not quite willing to give up on it?
No idea, dude. I think that's I wish I had an answer for you. I'll say this. I'm looking at baseball right now almost having a pre-pennant race. That's what this feels like to me. Pennant races are great because we know that there is an end in sight. We know that by this specific day, you are going to have played your 162nd game, and that whatever your record is after that day is going to mean everything for your season. Right now, it's almost like the trade deadline. Some teams feel like they have to be within a certain number of games of a playoff spot or within striking distance that makes them comfortable to hold on to guys. Or maybe they need a specific record to go and add and pursue guys. There are all these different calculations that are going on in organizations' heads right now, and only they know what their thresholds are. So we're all just left sitting here guessing. I mean, that's the reality. I don't know what the Detroit Tigers threshold to hold on to Tarek Skubal is, but we're going to find that out. And it's what makes baseball this time of year, when it can be getting a little slow, feel as exciting as it is, because every game, Chris, feels like it counts.
Jeff Passan, senior MLB insider for ESPN, joining us. Just in general, what does the price tag for a Mason Miller look like?
2 top 100 prospects, plus at least 1 to 2 big league ready players.
So a lot.
A ton, yes. And
that was a safe assumption.
Here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing. This time of year is also when prices for relief pitchers tend to be the highest, because they can, it's not just the impact that they can have on the game. They're getting high leverage outs, securing the most valuable wins imaginable. It's that everybody needs a good reliever. The reason that sometimes markets for position players this time of year, we saw this with with Eugenio Suarez last year. We might see it with Luis Arias this year. The reason that position player markets are so fickle around the trade deadline is because a lot of times the contenders don't necessarily need that position, and it would be redundant to go out and acquire a guy. So I think that the relief pitching market, on the other hand, even the best teams, even let's say the Atlanta Braves, who have had one of the best bullpens all year long, they could use Mason Miller. They would be a better team if Mason Miller were on their roster. I'll say that much. So because of that, San Diego could get a great haul. Maybe not what they gave up last year and Blair DeVries, but I think San Diego would do exceptionally well if it does decide to move Miller.
Jeff, as you know, great sports radio is built on nuance and letting it play out. So let's talk about that for a moment. Should the Yankees, either way at the deadline, kind of back to our original premise, how much should they be influenced by Judge's health?
I think it's a real factor, and I understand the Yankees' desire to win every year. They're the New York freaking Yankees. Of course they want to win every year, right? Of course they should. They have resources few teams have. We can go on and on about that. But to me, it's even more acute this year because the American League sucks. It's just bad. And because of that, I think there's, getting to the World Series, even if you're the Yankees, is a special thing. And I think the teams in the American League this year have a greater chance to get to the World Series than any year I can remember. And I've been covering baseball almost 25 years now.
Jeff Passan is with us, senior MLB insider. I have somewhat compared it, and I know you're a huge NBA guy too, to the likes of what transpired with the Knicks this year, because we looked at the rest of the Eastern Conference, and other than, the Celtics kind of out of nowhere having a 60-win season, but obviously we saw what they were eventually, it's kind of similar. And then, oh, well, God, they're just not going to have a chance against the West, and then you just never know what happens. And it feels like that has to be more of the approach for this. Not that the Knicks were making trades, but you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, it's just when you have opportunity in front of you, take advantage of it. Yeah. And I look at this opportunity. To me, opportunity it can come from multiple directions. Maybe it's opportunity because you have a young core that's coming up. Maybe it's opportunity because everybody around you is just not very good. Don't take opportunity, whatever form it comes in, for granted, because if it's there, it should be incumbent on you to take advantage of it.
What's your take on the Soto-Lindor relationship with the Mets, and whether or not too much is being made of it, or is that a real concern long term?
I do not think too much is being made of it. I think at the end of the day, they are two grown men and adults, and whatever beef there is, hashing it out is paramount, particularly if Francisco Lindor is staying. But if Lindor goes, whether now or down the road, we're going to look at the relationship there and wonder just how big of a part of it that actually is. And I don't think it would be an insignificant part of it.
So if that's the case, how does that influence you leading up to now? I don't understand at the moment, Jeff, just my take, where trading Lindor now is really worth it. Because if you're not trying to hash this out with whoever the new manager is going to be, if it's somebody that walks into the room with a lot of credibility, like a Beltran or an Alex Cora, it seems to me that that's at least worth investigating whether or not we can get these two guys on the same page.
I suppose so, but putting all that on a new manager when he already has, a franchise to turn around, I don't know if that's fair. I wonder, listen, get hired for a job, you got to do what you got to do. So I suppose it's fair in that respect, but I do wonder if spending time on that when there are manifold other things to do for the New York Mets would be time well invested, or if it's at this point where, and look, this is self-inflicted, right? Like the Mets traded for Francisco Lindor and they went out and actively pursued Juan Soto and paid him more money than any professional athlete in the history of North American sports. So This is ultimately on them, but if you feel like it has any chance of being an impediment going forward, then you got to do something. And I think Francisco Lindor is a lot easier to move than Juan Soto, frankly.
With that in mind, and we only have 48 minutes left of the show in mind, what exactly has gone completely wrong on the Mets here? What has it been that has just taken them completely askew under David Stearns here?
I think it's a lot of it just comes down to thinking that you had the right personnel coming in, and they come in and oops, this doesn't work. Talking about making this a better defensive team, there is certainly some nobility in that idea, but in practice, it just has not worked to this point. And when you make bad personnel decisions or personnel decisions that don't work, it can go pretty sideways. And I think this feels like one of the worst potential outcomes for any of these Mets teams. At the beginning of the year, you look at these projections and they talk about how, if the team plays to the 90th percentile, this is what it's going to look like. This feels like a 10th percentile outcome for the Mets. And you have years like that, but how do you respond to it? How do you change it? How much of your process internally do you change based on what happened? These are all things that we're going to be able to adjudicate perhaps a little more in the future when we actually see what comes of the changes that the Mets make. But Lord knows there need to be changes, because what has happened this year is pretty poor reflection on the state of this franchise right now.
Two last ones. With the Knicks run, as someone with perhaps one of the great Elmo imitations that has ever been, did you pay intense attention to the heat that he was getting? And was Elmo getting the screw job there? Were we all too hard on him?
I have no idea what Elmo has anything to do with the Knicks.
Oh, you don't? Well, I mean, I know you're a Kansas City guy, but so what happened was Elmo, obviously people operate under the assumption that Sesame Street is in New York. And so Elmo comes out in advance of the NBA Finals and tweets, Elmo just wants everybody to have fun. And the next thing you know, when people are celebrating in the streets, there was literally someone with Elmo's head on a spike calling him a traitor. And Elmo then made a video of saying, Elmo is just rooting for the Knicks. Of course he is. Go Knicks. And, let's not make a thing of this beyond that. I'm surprised that you did not know about this, but that's okay. But it was quite.
That sounds like something that happened on the internet, and I try and stay away from that as much as I possibly can.
It got bad for Elmo. It was pretty bad. And frankly, alarming at times as well. Last one, WWE guy. Where are you on Danhausen? Entertaining, annoying. Your thoughts?
I think you can be both at the same time.
And that's brilliant. And that's how I've made a career. Jeffrey, thank you.
Pleasure's always mine, Chris. Thanks.
That is Jeff Passan, ESPN Senior MLB Insider. The Yankees stuff, I do not mind overpaying for someone like Mason Miller. I really don't. I honestly think that with someone who has 3 years left, who is as dominant in that spot as he is, it would be awfully hard to not want to bring someone in that gives you that level of dominance to back into the bullpen. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's Mariano Rivera, okay? Nobody is Mariano Rivera. But this is, I can't even say as close. This is like today's version. I can't even say that. He's in at the top of this world as far as what dominant relievers look like. And when I'm moving into the next couple of weeks, I'm thinking about the dominant players, whether it's Skubal or whether it's Miller. Now, I'd be much more likely to want Miller, but I also have to understand that in the end, Miller may end up costing me the most. Here's the other thing that we don't talk about enough. Leading up to the deadline, like literally, it's day to day now. Because, and I know that baseball likes this, that there are teams, they want to have teams that are in it, and they want to have teams as in it as long as they can be in a season so that the fans are engaged. And that's a good thing. Parity is a good thing. Where I run into a mental block with it is teams that get delusional about what they actually are versus what they are. For instance, when we talk about a team like the Tigers, right? The Tigers sit here at 5 games out in the wild card, and they have got in front of them 4 other teams before you even get to the 3rd wild card spot. Do the Tigers, if they find themselves, let's just say, on August 3rd, 7 games under 500 still, and 5 games back, is Detroit keeping Tarek Skubal at that point? When you not just have, you might look at it and say, oh, we're only 5 out, but the Mariners are a game and a half out. The Orioles are 3 out. The Twins are 3.5 out. The Twins are 3.5 out of the wild card. The Astros are 4 out. The Blue Jays are 6 out. Like when you have that group of teams all in one spot contending for that one last wild card spot because, the Yankees are going to have one of them for certain, and you would think the Guardians probably would have another one. I don't know what's going to happen with the Red Sox. So you've got all these other teams competing for one spot. Are you going to get delusional about whether or not you're in it? That's what would frustrate me. So as Jeff was pointing out, this is going to be right up to it. It's the only time in baseball that a small sample size matters. And think about that for a second. All we hear with the darn analytics is all about how it's about larger sample sizes and regression to the mean, and it will get back to what it's supposed to be if it's not what it is right now. Because in the end, the numbers all even out. But yet, teams in the coming weeks could potentially ignore a larger sample size of well over 100 games, could be 115 games by then, ignore what has happened so far, and make a couple of decisions based on what happened over 2 to 3 days or a week. Dude, that's loco. Like every time you want to throw analytics and numbers and decision-making at me with that, just think about the trade deadline and how teams literally at the last minute will make a decision based on whether they won or lost last night. So the Yankees are really going to be up against it unless somebody just completely falls apart or unless you decide that right now you're going to overpay for a Mason Miller and super overpay for him. You're going to try to pry him away? Okay. So we think the Padres are going to trade him, right? How many games are the Padres out of the wild card? 2! 2. Right now. And they've got what? 4 teams in front of them. 4 teams in front of them. There's going to be pressure on A.J. Preller. If he wants to trade him away, if he doesn't get an absolute boatload in return, man, that is just asking for big trouble with your fan base. Especially in a place like that, when you have a young player who's not making a lot of money, is only making $4 million this year and has 3 years of arbitration left and is dominant in his position. If you don't load up with can't misses, how exactly Do you look at your fan base in the eye? It's one thing when you got a guy that is going to be walking at the end of the year. Listen, we're just being realistic about where we are. It's another when you are throwing away one of the best at his position in the game, if not the best. So for the Yankees, this is all going to be a waiting game really leading up to it. And this is going to take a lot of time. And we're talking about right up until the very end on August 3rd. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Carlin, ESPN New York, over on the ESPN New York YouTube channel as well. Leave your comments there. We will get those comments in on the show. In just moments, we will get to Am I the Nozzle? What I need is a little comedy in my life at the moment. I visited with some friends last night, had a lot of laughs, but came out of that just emotionally drained from what was a crazy day, as you can imagine. So perhaps in a largely misguided direction, I am going to put my trust in Tom Bauer to come up with some good situations to not just answer the question, am I the nozzle? And not just answer those questions, but also, can Tom make us laugh? Do you feel confident about your abilities coming up?
To deliver on the segment, yes. To make you laugh, that's subjective. I think I'm a very funny person, on occasion.
I'm going to need that as well, Ray.
There you go. See, you're already laughing.
I think you're a very funny person by accident many times. And I don't say that in an insulting way. I say that in a lovable way.
Well, listen.
All right, perhaps a little insulting.
Listen.
Lovable. Carlin, ESPN New York.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parrisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parrisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Miller time. People think it just happens, but that's not true. You know what you gotta do? You gotta go say hello with some beers. Make the plans. Forget the couch. Go to that thing. Play the game. See them in person. Talk to that stranger. Live a little. Small acts of rebellion that bring us together. Because legendary moments start with a light. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2026 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Mornings with DiPietro and Rothenberg.
If the Giants start out the season 0-3, forget it. What's going to happen to 65 or sooner? Well, kill it. It's a little adversity.
You have a 5-year plan that after 3 weeks you're going to punt on.
Yeah, I can't handle 0-3 again.
Maybe it's a 10-year plan.
70 or sooner. But that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. No, how could it?
No, it's not going to.
DiPietro and Rothenberg. Morning 6 to 10 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
Monkey Sports, built by players for players, is your one-stop shop for hockey, baseball, lacrosse, and more. Find top-name equipment and expert in-store services like sharpening, break-ins, and relacing. Shop in-store at Monkey Sports in Farmingdale or Woodbridge or online for all the top brands. Whatever your sports, Monkey Sports gets you game ready fast. Monkey Sports, where athletes shop.
We are moving now.
Electric bikes are everywhere. They are quiet and very fast. Teens ride them on the roads, in bike lanes, but also in places they should not be, like sidewalks and parks.
Look out!
When you ride, wear a helmet. Don't speed. Watch out for pedestrians and cars. New York State and your community have specific rules for electric bikes. Follow them. Go to trafficsafety.ny.gov for more info. A message brought to you by the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
It's Rich Eisen for Pella Windows and Doors. Sometimes teams take a timeout to regroup and call the right play. When it comes to your home, Pella Windows and Doors always has the winning game plan. They do it every day, and that's why your neighbors trust them. Visit Pella.com/Eisen today. Right now, Pella Windows and Doors of New Jersey is offering buy one, get one 50% off windows and doors, and no payments, no interest for 24 months. Some restrictions may apply. See local showroom for details. Offer ends July 31st, 2026.
I'm David Ortiz. When I lost my mom, she was only 46, and I lost my dad to cancer. It was the worst pain I ever felt. It made me think, what will happen with the people I love when my time is up? That's why I have life insurance. Ethos makes it easy. It's all online, take about 10 minutes, and you can get up to $3 million in coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game. Paid testimonial. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I saw the Steve Miller Band at the Garden State Arts Center circa 1991. Man, there was a lot of weed flowing around that night. Not of me, of course. 800-919-3776. It's Carlin on ESPN New York on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. It is time to find out if I am in fact the nozzle.
There are two sides to every story.
Everybody need to keep a cool booty, okay?
We're here to judge.
I plead the fifth.
Am I right?
Adoring.
Or am I the nozzle?
I was wrong.
Yeah, that's where we are. Listen, nozzles, we come across them every day. But sometimes you find yourself in a situation where you're just not sure if you're the one who's at fault. You're the one who's not looking in the mirror. You look at something and you feel like this is an entirely absurd situation I'm in, and these people are acting like morons. It can't possibly be me, right? Well, let's find out. Tom Bauer is here to present situations, and we will determine who the nozzle is. Tom?
So I'm going to start off with LeBron James. And there's
nozzle.
Yes. But there's two possibilities I can go into here that I'm going to leave up to consideration for you and determine whether or not the nozzle. One of which we already kind of discussed in audio files, whether or not LeBron should be granted this leniency for taking this process to be, let's say, a long time, and where he wants to determine his next team, whether he's been afforded that patience. But there's probably a bigger error that was made in the LeBron front, and it wasn't by LeBron himself, but rather a staffer on the Miami Heat, because I don't know if anybody knows this or saw it when it was a thing, but they posted a link, the Miami Heat did, to a scheduled live stream on their YouTube page. The title of the stream, LeBron James Introductory Press Conference.
Really?
Now, this is not like a throwback Thursday when, LeBron James was introduced to the Miami Heat back in, 2010, was it, let's just say?
Yeah.
No. This was dated for July 27th, 2026. That is what a team spokesperson wants to say, and that spokesperson told Shams that the club's social media department was preparing for the possibility of James's signing and mistakenly posted the link to the team's YouTube page. The post was later deleted. Now, there is also another factor at play here, and I am now looking on Indeed. Now, the Miami Heat,
You mean the job site, Indeed?
Oh, yeah. The job site, Indeed. Director YouTube strategy is now being posted by the Miami Heat.
Somebody get fired yesterday?
Supposedly, that is the case.
Seriously, somebody got fired yesterday?
It's a thing that happened. It is. I'm looking on Indeed right now. That is a posting. I don't know if that was the exact role, but lead to that with what you will, and whether or not they're feeling the heat.
So to be clear, this feels like it might be separate. Yeah, like we don't know definitively that somebody was fired because of this.
We don't know definitively, but all I'm saying is there is a suggestion on Indeed about that.
Okay,
but forget about that for a second.
Okay. What I would say is, first of all, I do think that they are separate. Okay, I just think that was happenstance. The only thing I would say about that is they had the date, July 27th.
That's right.
You know, like maybe that's already been all communicated and already, and they're going to be good to go. This is kind of like reminding me of the whole Lindor video that accidentally leaked on Twitter that he's going to get named captain from David Wright, you know, and it was just out there by accident. Are the Heat the nozzle? Is this the question?
Yeah, let's go with that here. Are the Heat the nozzle for posting this? Or maybe it hasn't been announced already? Like, is there a miscommunication going on?
The nozzle is the social media person who is not paying attention to detail. Okay? I'm not saying that what the Heat say, you know, they were preparing for the possibility that maybe this could happen. I'm not saying that's 100% accurate, okay? But I would say that when you are a person that runs a team's social media, you had better be buttoned up with what you're doing. Because we've seen it way too many times now where there have been minor screw-ups or a team has tweeted something out or Mr. Met's giving the crowd the finger. The whole thing. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it can happen in the blink of an eye. So if you're a social media person for a team and you're not buttoned up with what you're doing, it can cost you dearly very quickly. I say that person individually, and it might be a young person. I'm sorry. Nozzle. Attention to detail.
To win championships. Not one, championships.
Not two.
LeBron, tell us about that.
Not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven.
Man, he never lived that one down. At least he got two, but still.
Well, that's unfortunate. And he doesn't even have 5.
No, he doesn't.
He
does not. And what I would say to LeBron at this point is just make up your mind. Oh, my God. I think you probably have already. You're just dragging this out. Just tell us. Like, you know, fans would like to see an NBA schedule. And we get it. We get who you are. But why do you have this constant need to just suck every last bit of attention out of every possible scenario? Grand nozzle in all of it, LeBron. Next.
Fair enough. So this is a nice, fun story coming out of the Los Angeles Angels. So apparently they had a scout who had a nickname. This was a self-imposed nickname, I believe, because this gentleman ran a podcast that he named The Baseball Spy that he had back in the day. I guess they covered the Houston Astros cheating scandal. Well, The Baseball Spy has been fired for spying on the Colorado Rockies.
All right, so hang on a second. Back up for a minute.
Yes.
The Baseball Spy.
Yes.
Had a podcast.
Yes.
Was he like doing it under an anonymous way where nobody knew who he was? This is just the Baseball Spy? Or was it no, the Baseball Spy is a guy who works for the Angels and, you know, is someone that started doing this when the Astros thing came up.
So this is according to the New York Post. This gentleman on his LinkedIn page, this was before he worked with the Angels. He wrote articles as a freelancer and worked as a podcast host of the show, The Baseball Spy. And this had to do with the Angels, or not the Angels,
so
the
he
Astros
had the
scandal.
podcast, then he went to work for the Angels, and now he's been fired for spying.
Yes, and as a matter of all fact, the scout is spying on the Colorado Rockies. Possibly the worst team in baseball.
Well, listen, I can only tell you this, all right? If you think it doesn't happen everywhere and it doesn't matter who the opponent is, everybody is constantly trying to get any kind of an edge they can on anyone else. How do I know this? I'll give you an example. There was a time at Rutgers that I was told about back in the 90s. I wasn't around. But when they were, particularly bad, and West Virginia and Miami were the two great teams, a little bit of Virginia Tech too, but the two great teams in the Big East football conference at the time. West Virginia routinely pounded Rutgers. There is a building of apartments that I would say is about 1.5 miles away as the crow flies, maybe a mile away from where the practice fields at Rutgers were. There was a spy from West Virginia, a West Virginia staffer, who went up into the building 1 mile away and had the high-powered binoculars / telescope watching practice against a team that was not winning 2 games at the time. That's the level it gets to. Like, Belichick would spy on anybody he could. It did not matter the level of opponent. So this happens all the time. Of course, it's Nozzle. Of course, it's Nozzle. The problem is everybody does it. Like, everybody has done it for years. This is why coaches, think about how the absurdity of this in baseball now, and it started in football. The absurdity that coaches and now players in baseball cover their mouths with either the play card or with their gloves when they're talking because we're employing lip readers to figure out what's being said. I mean, John Boy could have a massive business as a lip reader and somebody that could be giving all kinds of information out there back in the day with some of the breakdowns that he does. He does an amazing job at it. It is nuts, the level of spying that goes on. But just think about that. We literally have to cover our mouths when we were talking and calling a play because teams would employ lip readers to figure out what was being said and to figure out what a play call is. Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah, he's a nozzle. But everybody's the nozzle in this case because everybody's doing it. Doesn't make it right. Everybody's doing it. Tom, your thoughts?
I will say here, there are no telescopes going on in this spying. No, this just happened to be Mr. Baseball Spy was just in the stands, took out a cell phone and filmed the Rockies coaches. There was no telescope going on. This is in the middle of a game.
No, I understand that, but my point is like...
Oh, yeah, I'm just pointing that out for the
on
record.
every different level, this happens.
Oh, of course.
And it doesn't matter who the opponents are. You're going to do everything you can to get every last bit of what's going on.
You got it. That's just sports.
When I played high school baseball, my friend Jack Dowling was on the team, and I will call him out because I haven't forgiven him for this. He was at first base, coaching first base, and we had a signal. He could see the catcher's signals, and I was at the plate. And if Jack put his hands on his head, it meant that a curveball was coming. So I get up to the plate, 2-2 pitch. I look over at Jack in the corner of my eye, hands on the head. Okay, here comes the curveball. And Jack's this kind of guy, fastball right down the chute. Jack did it on purpose to screw me over. He wasn't doing it out of malice. He was doing it out of his own entertainment.
And you still hold that grudge, like, let's say, 30
absolutely.
years later.
Jack also told an umpire to blank off, which was an amazing moment.
Yeah, I had a teammate who did that, and he probably got thrown out of the game.
Yes, Jack did get tossed. He did get tossed. Oh, yeah? Blank you! Adios. Tossed. Amazing.
And you know what? That's great that you bring that up because our last Am I the Nozzle today just so happens to involve an umpire, and it also so happens to involve, wait a minute, is this the Angels or the Reds? No, that's not the Angels. I'm stupid. This does involve the Reds, though, and it does involve an umpire. Reds pitcher Caleb Ferguson not very happy at Bill Miller the other day because Bill Miller was a umpire who was standing in the middle of the path of the shortstop or second baseman trying to field the ball for the Reds. And you then have Caleb Ferguson say the following phrase, which I will try and clean up. Blanking fat blank. Get out of the way, fat blank. Screaming that.
Yes.
And that being very much, I don't even think you need to be a lip reader to know exactly what he said there. But that happened in the middle of a game. And now, is that just a situation of one, should that be an ejection if the umpire heard that, or any umpire heard that? Two, is that just heat of the moment? Or three, is that just straight up being a nozzle?
So a lot of times we chalk this up to heat of the moment and competition and all that. He was looking right at him and yelled that. And far be it from me to not look out for my fellow fat brethren. Are we not allowed to work? Sorry we got in the way of your fielder. Umpire's part of the field the last time I checked. You work your way around me to go make the play. If you're good enough, maybe just don't let him make contact. How about that? I hate to see Bill Miller get dragged. Although, to Bill Miller's credit, and I have to imagine, the dude is looking right at the second base umpire as he yelled this at him. Looking right at him. There's no way that Miller didn't hear it. And he did not even react. He did not toss him from the game because Miller knew he was wrong, too, in that spot. That's like me when I get on the airplane and in advance I'm walking down the aisle and somebody realizes that I'm about to be sitting next to them for the next 2.5 hours on a flight. And that's not the most pleasant experience. And I just look right at them and I say, I'm sorry. In advance, yeah, I'm sorry. So, credit to Bill Miller for not tossing him. But I would say it is nozzly to go out of your way to say all of that. Get the blank out of the way, you blank, fat blank. That was a rough moment. And he just stood there and took it. It takes a lot to not run that guy in that moment. I'm happy to stick up for the umpire there, and not just because he's a little chunky. 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Bart and Carlin on ESPN New York and on the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Matt Wallace chiming in. Tom, the blanking job listing was posted on July 1st in relation to the Miami Heat thing. But listen, lighten up on Tom, all right? We've all had a rough couple of days here. We're just trying to entertain you and make it through. So, just dial it back. Lighten up, Francis.
I think I'm a very funny person. On occasion.
If you're heading into summer without a medical emergency kit, you're taking a risk most people don't think about until it's too late. Summer colds linger and can turn into sinus infections that last for weeks. Getting sick right now before vacation can derail everything. And when you're traveling, finding a doctor and pharmacy is stressful. That's why I ordered a medical emergency kit. It's like having urgent care and a pharmacy right at home. It includes essential prescriptions like amoxicillin and generic Z-Pak to treat a wide range of common and serious illnesses. So if you wake up sick at home or on the road, you already have what you need. No waiting for your doctor, no hours at urgent care, no pharmacy lines, no copays. Just match your symptoms to the right prescription in your guidebook or call their telemedicine doctor standing by. Start on your meds sooner and feel better faster. Every home needs at least one medical emergency kit. Order yours online in minutes and it's shipped to your door. And save $45 with my promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880. That's promo code 880 at urgentcarekit.com/880.
At City Harvest, we believe no New Yorker has to go hungry. With your help, we're on the road 365 days a year, rescuing over 77 million pounds of nutritious food and delivering it free to millions of New Yorkers, transforming surplus food into sustenance, sustainability, and smiles, rallying thousands of New Yorkers to power a network of nourishment across our city. One day, one meal, and one New Yorker at a time. That's how we feed good. Donate at cityharvest.org.
Hey, Yankees fans! Join us at Yankee Stadium on Friday, August 21st, as the Yankees take on the Toronto Blue Jays. And don't miss Cody Bellinger Bobblehead Night, presented by T-Mobile. The first 18,000 guests through the gates will take home an exclusive Cody Bellinger bobblehead. Get here early, grab the giveaway, and cheer on the Bronx Bombers. Tickets are available now at Yankees.com/tickets.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. At Rings End, they're there to help realize your modern design visions. That's why they partner with Marvin. Engineered for big ideas, Marvin Modern Windows and Doors deliver effortless elegance, expansive views, and industry-leading innovation, all in a modular system designed to meet the exacting principles of modern architecture. Experience Marvin Modern at a Rings End showroom today and create something stunning with them. Rings End is a certified Marvin installing retailer.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted car. Call 1-800-294-0222. You'll receive the maximum tax deduction, and we provide fast, free pickup. Call 1-800-294-0222. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Call 1-800-294-0222. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Rich Eisen here with some advice. If high-interest credit card debt is grinding you down, it might be time to call an audible with a SoFi personal loan. It consolidates your debt into one low monthly payment with no fees required. And with as soon as the same-day funding, you can make the right play fast. Call an audible on your debt today at SoFi.com/debtplay. Loans originated by SoFi Bank N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891. Fast funds terms apply at SoFi.com/debtplay.
This is the Michael K. Show.
You might all disagree with me on this. 7th game of the World Series. The Yankees have to win to be champions. Every single one of their starting pitching is available. I could choose between Garrett Cole, a former Cy Young Award winner. I could choose between Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, Will Warren, Ryan Weathers, or Cam Schlittler. There's one guy on the staff that's dominant and great, and that's Schlittler.
The Michael K. Show, weekdays at 1 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube. Presented by the Parisman Firm.
Carlin, ESPN New York YouTube channel at 800-919-3776, 800-919-ESPN. Jake Asman, the Asman, is coming up next in for Mr. K today. He will be here in just a few moments from now. A couple of comments coming in from the ESPN New York YouTube channel. Black Metronome would like Tom to report once again on the ruptured testicles. Tom, let's get back to the ruptured testicles reports. Let's get to that. Appreciate that if you could. The very latest on that situation and whether or not we should bring back people having to wear jock straps. I don't even know how that happened. But, Tom, at the beginning of the show today, like I haven't had a rough of a couple of days as it is. Like, this has been a little bumpy. Can we all agree? And I obviously have not had the worst of it. But, here you go. Go out there, make it happen. So I start the show, and I'm breaking down the fact that Cody Bellinger isn't getting enough blame. And the first phone call of the day up on the screen is a guy from East Windsor, New Jersey, who wants to talk about the fact that MLB does not check players for wearing jock straps anymore, and maybe they should, because a guy who's a former Rutgers player with the A's got a ruptured testicle. Heart goes out to that guy. Don't get me wrong. That's a rough go. All right? But Tom, knowing that I am not the brightest bulb on the tree to begin with, and that perhaps I'm a little distracted in all of it, puts that as the very first call up on the screen. And just to give you a little inside look behind the scenes, like the call screen is one giant screen to my right. And the first call is all in bright yellow, and the words jockstrap and ruptured testicle are catching my attention, and I'm just supposed to go ahead and talk about Cody Bellinger's 606 OPS in high-leverage situations, and I'm supposed to get through that with everything that's happened over the last couple of days. Hi, Tom.
Hi. Would you have rather I just wrote, this is going to be a fun surprise on the screen for you, and then that would have piqued your interest?
I don't know. Maybe.
Like, I'm just an honesty broker. I'm just writing what Spencer wanted to say.
There's still ways that we are learning. His name was Spencer. That's right. I forgot. There are still ways that we're still learning each other, and you're a young producer. You're making it happen, but, like, put it on the poll. Would you have been, and that's an unfortunate way to put it now, too, would you have been distracted if the words ruptured testicle appeared on your screen out of nowhere? Jake? Jake says yes, absolutely. Would have been distracted by that. Tom, I don't know if you want to put that on the poll. That may not be the best thing to do.
I'm good. I'll pass.
We have just a few moments left in the show.
I also question jockstrap.
Again,
I don't think that's really a thing anymore, is it?
Is it? I don't know. Like, the whole premise of it was to hold the cup, right? But there was, like in gym class in high school, we had to have them. We had to have them. And, like, what do they do without the cup? What do they prevent groin injuries? I don't think so. I don't even know what the functionality of that is anymore. Ray, your thoughts?
I think there's probably a cup involved. I don't think there's a jock strap. You know, they have actual shorts now that they go inside of and everything. There's no strap with two things hanging on the back.
But, like, in high school, like, we had to wear that in gym class. We had to wear one, and not with a cup.
I question everything about your high school right now.
Yeah, maybe I need to look a little deeper into this.
Well, listen, I'm very sorry that a ruptured testicle distracted you.
I can't believe I'm going to say this.
All boys, right?
I'm going to say it anyway. What they actually made you do, what this one particular gym teacher made you do, because it was, you had to wear a jacket and tie every day. It's private school. Okay? Not highfalutin. Trust me when I tell you that. Not highfalutin. I went out to Del Barton in New Jersey and tanked the interview because I didn't want to go to the country club. So I went to the other school instead, and I'm hesitant to even say it, but it was oratory prep. But this gym teacher would check to see if you were wearing it by you had to pull the strap down on your leg to show that you had it on. This is a problem. Now I'm going to have to go back and really look at this. It's like the episode of Friends when Joey's like, that's just how they do it when they're a tailor. There was severe cupping involved. No, not how they do it. They don't go up, move it, and then measure down the other side. Anyway, this has been a show of self-discovery. It really has been something. A couple of the other comments in. Let's see here. Hopefully Carlin's next. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. What else? There was one other one here. Black Metrodome, let him know, Carlin. All about the all about the testicle, ruptured testicle, excuse me. Giving you a lot of drops today to work with. A lot of work I've given you for the material in the future. You can just go nuts like Rick would have a field day with this. Primo Sabe, does your cup runneth over? I think on that note, we will, in fact, let the show come to a merciful close with Jake Asman on the way here momentarily. Appreciate all you guys. Really do. The ones hanging that have been with us and that continue to hang with us too. And you know how I feel about you, and you know how Bart feels about you. We love you. The Ass Man up next, DHR, later on this afternoon. That's Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg on ESPN New York.
Tricon Construction is growing across New Jersey, delivering larger, more complex commercial projects with the precision today's developers expect. Because when the timelines, capital, and reputation are all on the line, you need more than a contractor. You need a true